Hello. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to Battlecode 2013. I'm happy to see that you've come. I hope you enjoyed the pizza we had and a chance to meet some of our sponsors. We're really excited to bring you this year's gameplay. Like every year, it's entirely made new from scratch, or somewhat from scratch, and sort of cobbled together at the last second and barely working. So we've just been here, and we've got everything set up. We've got a great show for you tonight. And I think what I'll do first is I'll start by introducing this year's devs. Battlecode devs are just ordinary students. You can come join us. We'd love to talk to you about what a great opportunity it is to be a dev. So you can come and see us if you think that this stuff's awesome like we do. The devs this year are, I'm Maxwell Mann. This is Corey, Aaron, Sherry, YP, and Hightower is also considered dev this year, and Steven as well, although some of us couldn't make it. Thanks. So this year, we'd like to thank our sponsors. So I'll just list the sponsors, and then later on, you'll have a chance to hear from them if you didn't get a chance to talk to them earlier. So this year's sponsors, Platinum sponsors, Oracle. Our gold sponsors are D.E. Shaw, Chopper Trading, 2 Sigma, and Dropbox. And our silver sponsors are the MIT Game Lab, Yahoo, Blizzard, Yext, O-Power, JPL, Akamai, and Google, in no particular order. And so now I'll turn it right on over to Corey, who's going to talk about this year's gameplay. And he's going to tell you what you need to look at so that you'll understand the matches that are going on. Corey?
Thanks, Max. All right, so this year, we completely revamped the gameplay, and the objective, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Battlecode, 2 teams are creating bots to destroy each other's HQ. So for 1 month during IAP, both teams of MIT students and non-MIT students have been hard at work programming artificial intelligences to annihilate each other in a game of real-time strategy. So the objective is very simple this year. It's to destroy the headquarters on a 2-dimensional map. We've introduced a number of strategic enhancements, or enhancements as we call them, to the game, where you can capture locations and create various buildings that upgrade your army, as well as various upgrades you can also research to give global bonuses to your various soldiers, etc. One thing you want to keep in mind this year is we have a very special upgrade called the nuke, which is if any team researches this nuke, they automatically win the game. So this is just the one caveat you have to keep in mind when watching matches. To briefly overview, this is the 2D game interface that you will see. We will also have a 3D game interface up. The HQs are the circled sprites, and below them are the health bars. So when one of the HQ health bars reaches 0, that team has lost and the other team wins. Below it are counts of the various encampments that the teams have captured to give them strategic bonuses. And as we commentate, we'll kind of explain what everything is and how teams are doing, etc. Below that are relative energy. So teams need energy to function, and they use this energy to power robots and build encampments. And below this are the various upgrades the teams that have researched. And if the special nuke upgrade is researched, it will be shown as the 5th icon at the bottom. And then below this are the round numbers. So there are 2,000 rounds per match. Either a team will destroy another team before 2,000 rounds are up, or both teams will start taking damage on their headquarters, and the team with the headquarters remaining last will win the game. So I'm going to pass it on now to our platinum sponsor, Oracle, who will yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Buddhika Kotahashi, class of 2002, and I work with Oracle. So at Oracle, we're very excited about Battlecode. We've been supporting it over the years quite significantly, and we really like Battlecode a lot for a number of reasons, which I'll get into shortly. But personally, I want to tell you a story as well, because I have a personal interest in Battlecode and its success because, like I said, I'm class of 2002. So 12 years ago, in IAP 2001, we had the first Battlecode, or 6370. And it wasn't called Battlecode back then. And I was actually part of the team that put that together. So, seeing this over the years has been really rewarding for me. Oracle supporting Battlecode means that I've come here a couple of times over the last few years, and what you've done here is really, really great. When we started out, we kind of wanted to have, make coding exciting to people. And you guys in dev, you've done great work over the last couple of years where you managed to convert coding to become a spectator sport. And these are things that you don't usually associate with each other. So big round of applause to the devs over the years who've done a great job here. So that's one of the reasons why this is really a great thing that we think is worth supporting. So the other great thing about this is it gives you an opportunity that you don't get in the classroom. Besides all the technical skills you're developing here as part of the competition, if you reflect back on the last couple of weeks, I doubt that very many of the multi-person teams that are out here had everything go perfectly in harmony. You probably had a couple of heated exchanges, disagreements about strategy, maybe some tantrums. You didn't talk to each other for a couple of days. Things didn't go so well, and then eventually you worked through it, you got together, you delivered something that you're going to end up being proud of. And that is a set of skills that you can't really get in the classroom, but it's really valuable in the workplace. You need to be able to motivate your colleagues and yourself to work through and deliver results. So these are the kind of skills, both technical and interpersonal, that all employees, including Oracle, we love. And this is why we support Battlecode again. And a bunch of Battlecode alums have gone on to find a place for their talents at Oracle. They found a home at Oracle where they've been able to develop their talents further and have a fulfilling career. So we hope that some of you out here today will also consider looking at Oracle and coming and checking us out. We're on campus on Monday and Tuesday for the tech fair and the career fair, so do swing by and check out our booth. You'll find out about what we work on, who we work with, what it's like to work there. Give us a look, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Our next sponsor will be, the next presenting sponsor will be a company that all of us know and love, the game interface. No, the gold sponsor is D.E. Shaw. We've got D.E. Shaw in the audience. Thank you. Welcome.
So thank you. So first, I wanted to congratulate all the teams who have participated in Battlecode, and especially those who are here as part of the final tournament. So I'm Gerald Daly. I'm from D.E. Shaw, and we're a global investment management and technology development firm, basically we do primarily quantitative trading, and we also do qualitative trading, but even with that, we try to take a very rigorous and quantitative approach, as much as is possible, with some of the strategies where human involvement is really necessary. Battlecode has a few really interesting aspects to it, to a place like us. So people who are participating here are working on very challenging problems. It's a competitive environment where you're competing with other teams that are trying to be smarter and more efficient with the programming that they're doing. And this year in particular, I think, is interesting in that there's a combination of a very strong strategy component that the devs were able to put into it, as well as once you've got that basic strategy, you have to work hard to really get the implementation fine-tuned so that it works really well and so that you can be successful. And at DE-SHA, those are two things that are also important, is figuring out the right general approach to things, figuring out the math behind it or the right ideas, but then also carrying through on the technology side, whether that's implementing those base ideas correctly, or with middle or back office systems that support the infrastructure, having those be strong and work well helps provide value to the entire firm. It's also one where it has a very collaborative feel to it. One of the things I've noticed here with Battlecode is that people they're competing, but they're also friendly and enjoy that competition. And that's the kind of thing that we appreciate in people as well. If you're interested in learning more about our firm, we'll be outside afterwards along with the other sponsors, and we'd be happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think what he said is very true, that we are a collaborative competition here. I mean, competition is really to be used loosely. This year, we have an award that we're going to give out for the team that was most helpful. And but I think it's fair to say that most teams were very helpful to others. And this has been like a great environment to learn, in my opinion. Our next sponsor will be 2 Sigma. If you can come on up.
Need the Alt-Tab, right?
Yes.
Oops. Do you know how I switch to the other slides? Sure.
Awards now?
No, just the PowerPoint slides I had earlier. All right, so this is unfortunate because I'm speaking after 2 quite awkward speakers. I actually thought I was here as the oldest person with any amount of involvement with 6370, but of course now one of the original founding devs and organizers went just before me. But still, my name is Lee Lin from 2 Sigma, and I have been involved with Battlecode also 12 years ago. I was a participant in the very first Battlecode ever, and like we said, that wasn't a real-time strategy game back then. It was a board game. We'll get to that in a little bit. First of all, 2 Sigma is a quantitative firm. It is a finance and technology firm focused on creating intelligent systems to gain an advantage in financial markets. And one thing you might be wondering is, why do we like sponsoring this competition every year? Well, we've been a proud sponsor for many, many years now. I tried to find out exactly which year we were sponsored the first time, and I heard it was 2007. But when I tried to go to the 2007 site, I got a bunch of PHP cake errors and broken links. So that's too bad. I hear 001 now is in Python and 6170 is in Ruby. So I guess in the future, people might make more robust platform decisions. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. But anyway, my personal history with 6370 was in the very first one, like I said. And in 6370 2001, we were playing a turn-based board game, and Michael Ernst, Professor Mike Ernst, who became my MEng advisor, actually gave us a talk on ways we could prepare for doing better in the competition. So for example, there was one slide I found on arithmetic where 2 plus -1 plus 0 equals 1. And that somehow helped us when we were creating our AIs. But no, I mean, it was reducing a game into like higher representations and figuring out a lot of cool, I guess, meta strategies that could somehow come together into this huge, awesome strategy. And back then, in 2001, the prizes were, if you won, you got a copy of Age of Empires, I think. or you could get a Pocket PC before devices had Wi-Fi and 3G on them. But I guess they were still really, really cool, because I always liked gadgets and all that. 2002 was the first year where it was a real-time strategy game. And here, it was a huge step closer to what we have today. So basically, the units back then were scions, and these hemlocks were these really defensive towers that could shoot at many units who got near it, and that was also kind of supposed to be your home base. and that you couldn't move with them. Sea dragons were these weird units that nobody ever used. And seriously. And then beetles were like the transport unit, where beetles could like pick up other units and transport them around, and that was how you gained mobility. So there was one unfortunate kind of imbalance / bug that we discovered halfway through the contest. It turns out back then, the transports could only pick up a certain weight of units. And that made it so that you were only supposed to be able to pick up scions and maybe some other items you might find along the way. So some teams discovered that if you took your beetles and shot at your own hemlocks, which were the defensive towers, you could weaken it enough so that it was light enough that you could actually carry the hemlocks along. So now you had these like incredibly movable, mobile towers that were stronger than anything in the entire game. So you had people whose armies looked like this, and there were these flying, like damaged, weakened hemlock towers just storming your entire base, and there was absolutely nothing you could do. So eventually, the devs that year huddled up and said, okay, we gotta nerf this. And some people got mad because they were taking this for credit. They wanted their EDPs or design points or whatever credit they needed back then. And so they said, okay, you can qualify and get credit using this strategy, but we're not gonna let you actually compete in the final tournament. They nerfed it, and eventually people had to adapt, and we had a great tournament nonetheless. So first prize that year was $500. Nowadays, that's less than some of the gag prizes that we give out, like the ones the sponsors give out. But actually, if you look carefully, my team was the second from the bottom. We had the best documented strategy, the longest method, and also the greatest design mismatch between the document and the code. That's me in Team 14. So the cool thing is, in 2003, I was not actually a participant, but I was doing my MEng this time under Professor Ernst. And amazingly, I convinced him to let me do my thesis by studying AI submissions to Battlecode. So I found a copy of my thesis, the front page of it, this morning. It was Program Steering, Improving the Adaptability and Mode Selection via Dynamic Analysis. So I guess I was using some AI techniques to improve Battlecode submissions. I thought it was pretty cool, but really it was just really cool that I got to get away with making my thesis all about Battlecode. But we've come a long way since then. So today, what do people say? Well, Corey Lee, this is a thread on Hacker News just a couple of weeks ago. Corey Lee says MIT's longest running hardcore programming competition. We have Aaron Iva saying Battlecode was the best thing I did while at MIT. Spencer Skates saying, oh yes, this is absolutely something you have to do. And Trevor, one of the other former devs, saying, other classes might teach you about writing preconditions and documentation, whereas Battlecode is all about getting stuff done. And getting stuff done matters, looping things back finally. So innovation matters in the space of trading and finance. The rules are changing all the time. There are nerfs happening all the time, if you will, from regulation and the government, or just the playing field changing and things getting buffed. So we're all about following the evolution of financial markets. I really like this idea of you're creating these autonomous agents that need to make very important decisions every single day and try to gain an advantage on the competition. All right, just kidding. So we're not doing anything crazy and hacky and illegal, but no, what we really do is we're taking all of the rules and all the ethical and legal steps that a participant in the markets do, but it turns out markets are actually not all that efficient. And the reason why we need to hire lots of intelligent people is because there are problems that humans are very good at solving in finance, and also problems that machines are better at solving. For example, if you have a very all-in strategy, so if you want to just go and bet that oil is going to go up or the euro is going to crash, that's kind of an all-in. You might not need sophisticated code to go and do that. Humans might be able to do that better, but if you want to do something a lot more sophisticated, like make 5,000 small bets every single day, and you know that statistically you'll be right on 60% or more of those, then that's the kind of micromanagement that we really trust computers to do better as long as we're very careful about the way we make the code. So that is why we really love and support 6370. And we created last year the 2 Sigma Sun Tzu Award. And it's awarded for the team that demonstrates an AI that has patience and discipline, good risk management, knowing thy enemy, knowing thyself, and being adaptive and robust to many scenarios. And one of his more famous quote is, "The best battle is the battle that is won without being fought." And I guess that means you didn't have to get to round 3 because you swept them in rounds 1 and 2 on any given match. So what I did was we actually made a bunch of tools to analyze which teams we thought exhibited these properties. And in StarCraft, you know that there is this army strength over time graph. And what we did last year was we made an engine that graphs kind of the army strength relative to their position on the map. So I'm going to show you a really quick demo by going to Safari. I might need a little help getting out of this locked presentation. Thanks, man. All right.
You'll need to pull it up to the other screen.
Yeah? How do I?
Just maximize this.
Mm-hmm. All right, so basically what you'll see is a replay from earlier matches where at any given time you have the red base and the blue base, and this is a team that's gathering up a bunch of soldiers, big wave of soldiers, and just attacking the blue army, and then finally overrunning them is what happened in that match. Now, in the second match here, we have a more, there is not a team doing any sort of pickaxe nuke strategy. They are just really gathering large armies and throwing them straight at each other. And here, after a long-fought battle, red wins. And then finally, we have this very last match is extremely interesting. So blue is trying to do a pickaxe nuke type strategy. Red is sending wave after wave of soldiers. Now, after the nuke starts researching, red is just sending desperate streams and streams of soldiers at blue. Blue's holding it off, but amazingly, red actually sneaks behind and backdoors them. And this is actually this was the end of the match. This was kind of from the qualifying tournament where somehow red carved a huge path through blue's minefield and actually won. So with all these tools, we actually ultimately did declare a winner of the Sun Tzu Award, which we'll announce later. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that'll happen later on. We'll see every one of the top 5 sponsors are going to have the opportunity to show you their idea of what it takes to be a good Battlecode player. Let's see here. So I'm switching on over. Apple computers. They're the things that I know how to use, right? What is it, the left arrow? I think it's the left arrow. Yeah, okay. Wait. Oh, okay, so we've got it. So we just heard from 2 Sigma, right? Is that right? Okay, so our next speaker will be Dropbox. If they'll come on down.
Yeah, just something. Yeah. Actually, do you mind? Let's see.
Do you need space?
Yeah, I could. Let's see. Yeah, I can put it on top. But, yeah. Is it kind of? There. Is there space?
This is entirely. This is safe.
Right, how are we doing?
Okay, good.
It's okay, we got this.
Yeah, let's try unplugging.
Hi, my name is Steve, and I'm here to say a few words about Dropbox. So, for those of you who don't know, Dropbox is a service that allows you to bring all of your photos, documents, and videos anywhere and share them easily. Any file you save to your Dropbox automatically saves to all of your computers, your phone or iPad, and the Dropbox website. We also make it really easy to share and collaborate with others. And if your computer melts down, you can restore all your files from the Dropbox website with just a few clicks. At Dropbox, we love MIT. Even when you guys make our lives difficult. But seriously, we love you guys. I mean, we were founded out of MIT by Drew, an MIT grad, and Arash, an MIT dropout, and a huge percentage of our team, of our engineering team, is from MIT. At Dropbox, we also love Battlecode. Dropboxers, including our CTO, actually, Arash, have dev'd for Battlecode, and we've consistently done pretty well, having won in 2008, 2009, and 2010. This year, we continued the tradition by putting together a team called Old School. You guys might have had the pleasure of going up against us in the scrimmage server, or when we accidentally snuck into the seeding tournament. Sorry about that. Anyways, a few fun facts about Dropbox. Users all over the world save 1 billion files every day to Dropbox. It's more files every day than tweets on Twitter. This fall, we passed 100 million users. And the crazy thing is, we're really quite small with just over 80 engineers. And we're able to stay so small because every year we come to MIT and Battlecode and find the best and brightest engineers. So, I love these pictures. So if you're interested in joining a small, talented team that's tackling a huge problem of organizing the world's most important files, come talk to us afterwards. We're hiring for internships and full-time. Best of luck to all the contestants, and congrats for making it this far.
Nicely done.
All right.
So thank you very much, Dropbox. If you can. So yeah, our next sponsor that'll be speaking, he couldn't make it here. He got a plane flight, so I'll be delivering for him in just a moment. Yeah, wow. So Battlecode, such a legacy, and we're so lucky to have previous devs come and talk to us about the competition. You know, even we don't really have a club historian, so this kind of information just sort of fades into the history books, which is to say, no, it fades into obscurity. That's right. Although history books are quite obscure in themselves. I mean, it sort of fades away, and the internet and the websites that we had just sort of die. And then, in any case, let's go down to Chopper Trading. So this is our last gold sponsor. After which we'll be going straight into some matches. Yeah. So Chopper Trading is a Silicon Valley mentality. They have a Silicon Valley mentality in a fast-paced, Chicago-based trading firm. They have offices in New York, London, San Francisco, and DC. And they're a new company. They've grown from 4 employees to more than 200 in just 10 years. And like a lot of sponsor companies, they're going to be around. So you'll be able to meet them in person at PokerBots. Not that competition is worth going to. and the TBP Career Fair as well. So that's on Tuesday, I think. So you can go check them out there, and you can see what their culture and technology have to offer. And so with that, I think it will be a good time to mention our silver sponsors. They're not going to come up here and talk, but our silver sponsors this year are MIT Game Lab, Blizzard Entertainment, Yext, Yahoo, Akamai, Google, JPL, and OPower. Very good people. I mean, the way I see it, anybody who likes Battlecode is a friend of mine. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and we'll perform the steps necessary to begin viewing the match. So here you'll get to see some of the blood and guts on the main screen while we get it set up. So while that happens, I'll just chat about other things, sort of indicate how it's going. So like this system is very well set up by the engineers who do the equipment. But then on our end, it's incredibly complicated. You have 3 separate screens. And what you're going to see in the middle screen is the 2D client, and on the left screen is the 3D client. And they're synchronized. It's super fancy. Oh, my goodness. So here we've gone straight into a match, one of the Novice matches, and Corey and I will be commentating.
So, check. Hello?
Are you all set? Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it's some things in life just pass you by. They happen real fast.
So here we see it's Team Q versus Tenubs, this is the championship match of our newbie bracket. So for those of you who have never entered Battlecode before, if this is your first year, you were automatically entered into
Was that the nuclear missile?
That was the nuclear missile that went off after a team researches the nuke for 404 rounds. The extra 4, the devs added in last minute as kind of a troll sort of number.
Yeah, I mean, because it's 404, page not found is sort of the idea. And so in this case, it's 404, not having a nuke on your head, not found.
Yep. So here we have Q as red and Tenubs as blue, with Q having 1 up, and Tenubs doing sort of a rush-based strategy where Q is just trying to turtle and add a nuke.
Oh, man, and that was so close.
That was quite close.
We saw Q just almost get that nuke off, so that's going to bring it to a 3rd game in the series.
So this is 1 versus 1. The winner of this match will take the newbie tournament, which is Q versus Tenubs once again.
Yes, for those of you who don't know, the pink indicates messaging. That's how robots are able to communicate with one another. So we see, a big difference between those 2 teams. One team using messaging, the other one not.
Yep, so it looks like this round, both teams have switched up their strategy. You don't see Q going straight again for the nuke directly. Rather, both teams are kind of doing some sort of attrition in the middle.
Oh, and there we see Tenubs overcomes with building some of those macro buildings that really helps him out.
Why is he on the match?
So now we're moving on to the next match, aren't we?
Yes.
So so we've got this viewer, this client is you can control it with the keyboard. For those of you who don't know, and so we've just gotten a little bit more control, and now we're going to be pushing those buttons. So we see
Give me focus.
we see both teams going for a bit of a macro play, and it's going to come down to which team has the better micro. Oh, and it looks like blue has overtaken. Yeah, surprising, but it's because he seemed to have found some more of those macro bases down in the bottom corner.
Yep.
I mean, it's a really hard trade-off for teams to make the decision about what to do in a match. If you got a certain map length or distance, you might have a different strategy.
Yep.
You might have windows show up in your way, and your robots can't get through them.
Exactly. Sometimes you just can't see what's happening.
You just can't see.
Gotta power through.
I mean,
And sometimes, just have the terminal window come up.
that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so we're pushing the buttons that are necessary. So red seems to have gone for some of these buildings, but blue has also, and it looks like blue has defeated the red army, but is not really interested in pursuing that to its logical conclusion.
So notice that blue is making...
So there we have it. Tenubs taking another game, showing just how un-noob-like they are.
Yep. We had a lot of teams this year named kind of ironically not very good at Battlecode, who still made it to the top 16 anyways.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced they were just trolling us in the end.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So it's like I think sometimes when it takes a while for a match to load. Oh, yeah, that's the end. Is that the end? There are only very few novice matches because the novice tournament, is for first-time Battlecode players, and it gives them the chance to compete in sort of a more friendly, less competitive environment.
Yep.
And so there are only, I think, three novice matches.
3 novice matches.
And so I think we've probably seen all of them. They went by really fast. And I'm going to say it's because we were having fun.
Yeah.
And so in the spirit of getting home and getting to bed, before tomorrow, let's just quick move on to the pro matches, unless I'm mistaken about our being finished with the novice matches. Yeah. So we're going to pass the keyboard right on back because we use keyboards as frisbees. We're that good at programming. Oh my goodness. It's they just go around. We change computers, we change monitors. We do this stuff in our sleep. Oh my goodness.
So we're moving on now to the round of 16. So teams played earlier on, I believe it was Wednesday? Wednesday it was?
I guess it was.
So Wednesday, teams competed in the round of 16 to qualify for the finals tournament. And what you're about to see is a double elimination match between all top 16 teams. And the winner of this tournament will be the final grand champion. Glory for life, eternal fame.
Yeah, I'm pumped up for it.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, all the previous tournaments have been streamed live on Twitch TV, and this tournament as well is being streamed live. So next year, if you don't like pizza and you don't like meeting sponsors, then
I just don't like people.
Or if you're sick,
yeah.
Maybe if you're
Or
sick,
sick.
if you have a legitimate excuse, you could stay at home and watch. And I think the computer has become sentient.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and tell the computer yes. I'll pet it to let it know. I think it really, I think it appreciated that. So we got 2D. I mean, this is complicated, all right, people? Give it some time. You gotta.
All right, so teams who are in the match, if you guys would like to come up, we have the bracket on the, I guess, my left, your right side of the board. And we have a mic here if you would like to commentate your strategy and kind of discuss your code base, etc.
Slow it down. Stop it. Slow it down. It's F and J. F and J, slow it down. I forget which one is which. So you can go ahead and say a few words about your strategy.
So actually, I'm just really excited about the game because I don't think we have played before. And yeah.
I think it's like this. Shift and then that one.
It seems that Red is a kind of
Is
a
that not it?
nuke bot, or at least Red seems to be making artillery and shields, which is very good because they're really good at killing units, and we never do it. Our bot only makes 2 types of buildings, but surprisingly, it works pretty well.
Not that tight.
What's the pause
Hi, I'm
button?
Kerry. I'm not very good at Battlecode, and my bot builds econ buildings, so it tries to support a huge army, and then eventually try to take over the map and attack the base.
So what's this? What's the pause button? Do we have a pause button? I think we do.
So
There's no. There is a pause button.
It's the keyboard. The keyboard is in Dvorak.
Oh, the keyboard's in Dvorak. Oh, so it doesn't have that key?
No.
Oh, that's cool.
We don't know what the key is.
Oh, we just don't know it. Well, there you go. That's fine. Fast is good. Fast is furious. We live on the edge.
Look it up.
The edge of understanding.
The edge of understanding.
And we often fall off into the abyss of ignorance.
Yep.
Yeah. So yes, you were saying our lovely team. It's mesmerizing though. It can be. Oh, grab. That was the wrong direction. Okay, that's a bit slower. That's nice. That's good. I like that.
So at least it's not a startup. It looks like you guys are going for a very turtle-based strategy where you kind of stay in your base a little bit, mine up, and then send out units. Would you like to explain a little bit about your macro-based play?
So what we try to do is, as long as our army is small, we defend, and as soon as our army is big, we attack. The problem is we started out at a head start in this map, and then all our buildings got destroyed. So I think we're now trying to defend. But as you can see, Red is taking over more and more of the map, which is pretty bad.
I think the main problem is the artillery. We're really bad at handling those, and they have a lot in the middle of the map shooting us.
So you'll notice she refers to artillery, which are these red rocket-like structures in the middle of the map. They deal an enormous amount of splash damage to any unit that comes within their attack range.
Yeah, we put these in as sort of like it's not. Oh, it's getting close. I mean, we put the artillery in, but it's not entirely undefeatable because the enemy team can use shields to defend against the artillery splash damage and direct damage.
If you make shields.
If you make shields.
Which we done.
So you'll notice that the red team is trying to invade the blue minefield and take out the blue headquarters in the bottom left.
Yeah, and I think the unit advantage is gonna probably do it for them in this.
But both teams, it's the end of the round. Both teams have started taking round damage, but the red team will close out the match. Pause it.
So our next match.
Our next match is Cho Cookies versus Hey, I Just Met You.
Yep. Oh, I think he said
to move to the podium.
Yeah. So
this map we made it. It's called Nice Guy. Guys.
Right. So I mean, we encourage audience participation in everything really, and we really appreciate all of your contributions. Really interesting micro out of these two teams. Can you maybe say a few words about how you decide to do things that you do?
We're Hey, I Just Met You. We're blue in this case. So we both seem to have some pretty conservative micro where we try to stay 3 squares away from the enemy so that, well, I guess we just lost that battle. Yeah, our micro isn't that complicated. I don't know if Red wants to say a little more about what they do.
Yeah, basically, for our micro strategy, we look at all of the enemies that are in our attack radius and how many allies are next to them, and then assign a value and a cost of moving next to the enemies, and then we add up the costs of all the enemies within 2 squares and the value within 1, so that's what's causing the standoff there.
Well, I think a Mexican standoff is perfectly reasonable condition. Now, have you got like things built in for what? Oh, it looks like it's breaking up.
Yep.
We should.
Not quite.
So yeah, you can see we've started our nuke. So one thing we try to do is if our HQ thinks that we can't support another unit, we just try and get the nuke out before the other team. But it looks like here we were able to kill their base after winning the engage.
Oh, it's pretty tense. It's going on to a third match.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
So this is a double elimination. So whichever team loses here still exists in the tournament.
Yep. So they'll be knocked down to the losers bracket, and they'll have to fight their way back up from the losers bracket.
Pretty interesting thing here. We see one team has gone a little bit more for an economic play.
Oh no!
And
we're going to get backdoored. Oh, good game.
There is a back door.
So our next match. Yeah, our next match will be between Team 85 and Team 122. Oh yeah, you guys are really on it.
So Team Grumpy Cat is red and blue.
Good start for them.
We're a little worried about Grumpy Cat. His dance moves are very good.
So we're a more econ team, so not a ton of econ in here, but looks like we took it over pretty quick, which is good for us, but Grumpy's catching up at the moment. We got some encampment hunters up top there. Watch them go across. They're going to hit those encampments hard on the right side there, hopefully.
He's doing
Get
the
in
same
there.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is really a strategy I think we've seen like at the very end where people have been implementing these little hunters that go around the map and try to destroy all the other teams' encampments. Would you like to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that was something we thought would be really important in the finals is map control, because whoever has more encampments in a long game like this is going to win. So that's something we implemented. They should be going on the bottom too, but you can see our encampments down there getting a little owned by that guy.
So you'll see on the left, we have the research icons in the bottom left corner. And the kind of star thing you see there is fusion, which grants bonus upgrade energy to the team who researches it. The little explosion icon is diffusion, which allows teams to break through enemy mines or neutral mines a lot faster. And the little pickaxe allows the team who researches it to lay mines a lot faster.
You know, I really love seeing some of these teams have these cute mine patterns where they make a perfect square or something like that. That just, just really gets me going. But
so my guys are going crazy with power, and I don't know why, but you see they built 5 lightning bolts. We built no boxes, so that's not good.
yeah, I mean, everybody's got to know from any logistics standpoint, boxes are like the #1 thing you need. Lightning bolts second.
Right. So for the devs, we often thought that the optimal strategy was 2 boxes, 1 lightning bolt.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, the box increases the spawn rate of your units, and the lightning bolt increases the amount of energy you have to spawn and support units and encampments.
Yep.
We like lightning bolts and boxes. We're pretty liberal in our thinking like that.
Yeah, now, I mean, just imagine how OP it would be if there were boxes with lightning bolts on them or something crazy like that. Oh my goodness. So this game is nearing its conclusion. As you see, the round number at the bottom left is approaching 0.
So once the round number hits 0, both teams' headquarters will begin to take damage, and the tie-break condition is whichever team has more boxes / lightning bolt encampments on the map.
So it looks like I win the battles, but they have more guys, so...
Our micro's not very good. We like to focus on econ, you know? We're not very aggressive. We just want to prosper.
Yes! Oh, you might get us now.
So right now, blue team has more boxes plus lightning bolts, which means that they will win the tie-break condition if both HQs get destroyed simultaneously.
Yeah, now I think one thing that we're going to see, if not in this match, then in the other ones, is that if one team gets 1 or 2 hits off on the other headquarters, then that'll mean the difference between winning and losing.
Good.
Well, unfortunately, we kind of have like this end condition where we just build a nuke. Because obviously the game's ending.
And this could be very
But
effective.
I don't think Grumpy Cat's going to respond, hopefully. He actually...
It's going to be close.
We were hoping he didn't have any time for that.
So once again, Grumpy Cat has won the first match. These matches are best of 3, and we will have the teams face off again.
Well, here's our patented hatted soldier.
You can speed it up.
Yeah, if you see him going across the top there, you should be dead. All right.
If you could comment a little bit on how you decide when to build an artillery.
Our artilleries are using the dot product and the unit vector to basically determine how far away from our HQ line to the other HQ to say, hey, we want an artillery in this spot because it's going to be in between us and the enemy.
Yeah, mine just build randomly.
Grumpy is also very grumpy, and so it's very difficult sometimes. Oh, we tried.
That first one was good.
I know.
Nicely done.
Bracket.
All right, so we're moving in to our next game. Get the teams on up here to talk about their code. Oh, and maybe they'll have to talk about the second match.
Can you guys slow down even more?
Your first match. Why don't you talk since you won?
Call Steven.
So we have multiple strategies in our bot. The bot that just won that first game was our rush strategy. So basically, we just send our units very quickly at the opponent. There's not too much to say about it. We don't build any encampments. We just straight up rush them. And I think we just do that again.
I think
My team evidently very vulnerable to a rush.
So we're moving right on into our next match. I mean, I think it's really important for teams to be able to see whether a map is a rush map or otherwise. So welcome to the stage, and you can go ahead and say a few words about your bot if you'd like.
Yeah, so we're team own goal.
Mike.
We're team own goal. Our strategy is best described as aggressive macro. We try to get a high generator and supplier count while continually attacking the enemy to prevent them from doing the same.
But unfortunately, we can't really get the encampments because we didn't account for the fact that mines could be on encampment squares.
Because they're really strong anyway.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we devs put in sort of at the last minute, and a lot of teams were caught unprepared for the idea that encampments can be booby-trapped in their own way.
All right. So we're Team Zero. Last map, you saw our rush strategy. It didn't work, so we're transitioning into macro. We're the red team, by the way. So our macro strategy tries to play defensive and grab encampments, and pretty just macro-based, and tries to not die early and just get a big army and eventually win that way. But it looks like it's not working too well. The first map you also saw us get a little bit messed up by the fact their mines were encampments. So yeah.
So for those of you guys who maybe haven't quite heard what mines do, robots are able to put mines onto the battlefield to kind of like change up. Sorry, we didn't explain mines, but it's fine.
Go ahead.
Oh, by the way, our team name is pronounced like the following. Oh no! Own goal!
If you could ask them to speak into the mic, I will.
All right, welcome to the stage. For you guys, if you would just like when you talk, pretend that you are preparing to eat the microphone. Yeah, like you would have it that close. Yeah, so go ahead and tell us a few words.
All right, so we're Team Bad. We're the blue right now, and we don't prepare for the neutral mine encampment. So you see all our guys just kind of walking around those places in the back trying to capture them. And this will be really bad for us because they got more boxes than we do, and they'll have a bigger army. And then they're coming now.
I guess that could be considered a bit of a shame, but you still have the 2 chances afterward if you don't win this match. And even after that, you know, it is double elim, and I don't think we were horrible enough to make all of the maps this way.
So we're face rollers, and we just face roll like this.
Oh, come on. That's okay. We know nobody's bad-mannered. We know that because we all love each other and such. So we don't have to worry about it. That's all.
So this is a map with a very short rush distance, so we should see more rush-based strategies perform better.
Oh, it's getting interesting. Pretty good rush code out of Team Bad.
Has to be debated.
So once again, best of 3. So both teams have 1 wins, and we are moving on into the 3rd match. We see that blue is going for a very defensive strategy by laying mines everywhere across the field so that red cannot actually get to its headquarters.
Blue's got a temporary advantage in units, but is he going to be able to translate that to a win? Looks like he's got the unit advantage.
Blue has the unit advantage and the map control advantage.
Pretty exciting. Well done. Well done to both teams.
Can you pause? Can you pause now?
We're seeing some pretty exciting matches. You know, I'm really happy that it's not too one-sided either way or the other.
And I believe we have found the pause button.
Oh, technology is always improving, Corey.
Indeed, indeed.
Hi, I'm Dragos. I'm Team Cordage.
Go and hi. And hello. There you have it, folks.
I'm actually a bit surprised we're not rushing on this map.
So which color are you?
Well, I'm blue. So I'm starting by building some layers of mine around the base and then doing some group attacks.
Oh, it looks like you've gotten a hit off on the other headquarters.
That's great.
Any commentary from from Team 173?
I'm in trouble on maps where encampments are behind the HQs because my entire army will go to defend one encampment, and it just kind of leaves the HQ abandoned. So
but
I'm glad he's not doing that sneaky thing that the other teams do.
Oh, yeah, some teams have been quite sneaky. That's not against the rules.
As you can see, I'm at a disadvantage with the encampments right now.
So both teams have taken all back encampments, but you'll notice that the encampment distribution is a little bit better for red because red has 1 lightning bolt while blue has a med bay. The med bay heals allied robots, but no robots are actually going back to be healed.
I mean, that's reasonable. I don't
think
like
that's
going to
actually
hospital.
a bug.
Bug, huh?
So,
I mean, we're seeing here the power of defending on top of a minefield.
That medbay was supposed to be a
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. don't do that. Keep it slow.
So we see the next match between these 2 players.
I really hope we rush.
It is a short rush distance.
Yeah, so very short rush distance, only separated by 2 mines if you take the optimal path through the center. But most teams kind of just like plow through every single mine they see. Mines deal damage over time, so they're not like traditional mines where you step on them and they blow up. Actually, if you step on them, you robots take damage.
Oh.
So it looks like our micro, which is entirely based on bid manipulations, was worth it.
Bit manipulations is definitely the right thing to do in terms of micro.
Yeah.
I do that even when I make the bed. You know, I just it's
pick some bits and
it's
shuffle
more
them.
efficient
Yeah.
that way. Yeah. Efficiency is very important in Battlecode. You can sustain twice the number of units if you have more efficient code.
Yep.
Because they just take less energy. I mean, it's simple arithmetic.
Yep. Units take between 1 to 2 power. They always cost 1 power, and then the variable cost is how many bytecodes they use. So the more efficient your code, the less power they use.
So we see red taking a bit of a macro lead here and holding off the blue advance. This could spell trouble for our blue team. So there we have it, the end of yet another exciting match and the beginning of another one.
So the last match in our winners bracket is Tenubs versus right now Lecture.Voldemort. Left paren, right paren.
So we're right now Lecture.Voldemort. Our strategy is just to build a nuke as fast as possible, but if someone tries to nuke us earlier, hopefully they don't have enough time to make defenses, and so we can just come in with our small army and take over. Someone that tries to take more time to make a nuke will have about as many units as them, and we'll just get ours off earlier. That's how we try to get through them.
And who wouldn't go for a nuke play when the animation is so exciting?
So we're to Nubs. We try to apply a little bit of early pressure at the beginning to make them stop being so greedy with their nuke or encampments. And then we transition into a more macro-based style. It looks like it's working okay.
So that's a short map. See how things go on a bit of a longer map, or one with more mines in it.
So our micro, which is how we, when we have a bunch of units in battle, is based around having a big swarm. So in that case, where they attacked us so early that we didn't have one, we kind of sucked because we didn't write for that at all.
Yeah, and in this case, it's hard for a swarm
we're
to...
actually in a lot of trouble here because we seem to go for the encampments up top, and now they have a lot more guys than us. We'll see if we can hold them off, but I'm not sure.
You know what they say in real estate, location, location, location. And it applies no less here. They do, they do. And with good reason. They probably say that in financial trading too, because it's just true.
So you'll notice the red team has actually built the first shield in this tournament, I believe.
Oh,
so,
no. I think we've seen one
Oh,
other,
we have
but,
seen one.
But
okay.
not too much effect.
So this shield, if robots charge underneath this shield, they gain a little bit of invulnerabilities towards mines and can actually charge huge defended positions. So you see red charging up at the shields and now running into the blue minefield.
Yeah, he just walked straight on top of those mines. And that ended up making a big difference for him during that attack. That was really interesting because we saw, initially a bit weak, but holding it off and getting those encampments up at the right corner seemed to be maybe the right location for his real estate.
Yeah. So getting up the shields, getting that prime real estate, defending up, getting the mass units, and then pushing in at the end really pays off.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to real estate, there's basically two issues. There's, how close is it to the enemy base? And then there's, how good is the school system in that county?
Exactly. So this is now the losers bracket? All right, this is the first round of the losers bracket. So,
This is winners.
oh, this is winners bracket, actually. Yeah. So not very good at Battlecode versus Choke Cookies.
So what color are we?
Not very good at Battlecode is in red.
And Choke Cookies is in blue.
Okay, we're the blue then. All right, right now, the main idea of ours is we swarm. And then every so often you see this random guy right at the bottom just hunting around. Yeah, we kind of like exploring too. So while we swarm, we randomly send a guy to go look for encampments and sometimes backdoor. Oh no, he got spotted.
I mean, being a spy is a very dangerous profession, and I don't recommend it to anybody who likes having all 4 limbs.
Although some teams like outfit their spies with hats, I hear.
Oh, well, you know, a hat can go a long way, though James Bond himself generally went uncovered.
That's true.
Actually, no, I think Sean
Right now,
Connery.
you do see that spy right up? Oh, he got spotted.
You know, one thing about spies is that sometimes the enemy army will be, you know, completely out of position going back just to go after one spy. So I think it's generally a good plan.
So Red has 9 suppliers, which brings their total spawn rate close to about 6, I believe. The more suppliers you have, the faster you can spawn. The default spawn rate is 10, and suppliers decrease it according to some formula that we implemented.
That's right. You know, formulas that we implement are generally implemented about as well as they can be. So you can trust that that makes a big effect, as you see here.
Nice.
So this is a map that I designed. I believe I call it Chaos Egg. And the idea being that, you know, it's pretty quick to get to your enemy if you go around. But if you want to go straight through, it takes a little bit longer. And during that time, you can take up some of these like cell phone bars in the corner.
So Blue opted to defuse the entire middle, and Red is kind of taking advantage of the fact that Blue cleared it for him while macroing up in the top right corner.
Yeah, now we see that Red took an artillery. He's sitting on an artillery, and that was exactly what I intended that one encampment to be used for. It's to prevent enemy rushes, and it's to prevent enemy straight-up attacks. Like, if the enemy's going to go around from behind, then that'll be like a really good move for them, and I want to sort of encourage that behavior by giving them something that they've never seen at the finals. No, that's not true. So, yeah, I mean, you see the power, the defensive power of the artillery, and this is the kind of thing where you'd expect Blue to maybe respond with, like, you know, shield batteries.
So we're about 800 rounds into this match, and Red is just trying to macro up as hard as they can. We see 15 or so suppliers, which brings their spawn rate below 5. So Red can spawn 2 units, more than 2 units for every 1 unit that Blue spawns. So the number of soldiers that Red is just going to have is enormous, and it's basically Red's game to lose.
Oh, very good. Good game.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm really crazy about these maps that we've put together for this final tournament. You know, it's meant to showcase the team, show how great they are.
Yep, this particular map I believe we called Strategic.
Is that so? What exactly do you find strategic about it?
So I believe the designer of the map believed that these mines, he made kind of a maze, and then if you traverse the maze, you can capture the encampments in strategic locations.
I see. You know, it could be said that most locations are strategic. I mean, they could be good strategy,
Sure,
but
sure.
I think I see where you're going with it. So a few words from the teams, perhaps.
So this is a different one of the strategies than we used in our last match. This one is a defensive strategy, so you can see our soldiers are just sitting on their minefield and trying to research a nuke.
Oh, there it comes.
So the nuke is very close to finishing. It looks about 40 rounds for the nuke to finish. Will Blue finish the nuke? The nuke is up. These icons will also. This is like completely wrong. All right, once again, starting on Chaos Egg, Grumpy Cat as red, Q as blue. Both teams kind of staying on their side of the map, but Grumpy Cat is going to go for a more macro-based play, getting a lot of the encampments in the top right corner.
Yeah, I'm pretty interested to see how it's going to go between Blue, who's gotten the med bay, which really goes well with a nuke strategy, and Red, oh no, is he going to have time?
So once again, we see a race between Red's army and Blue's nuke. The nuke is about 40 rounds away from finishing, so Red has 19 rounds to kill the base.
Great game, guys. So we move on to strategy.
Yep, so this is the third game in the winner's bracket. Own goal versus bad. Own goal as red, bad as blue.
Now, I think it's really interesting when we see these pairs of encampments. You know, do you want to put maybe like a shield battery and a med bay? Because that could be, you know, a pretty nice combination to put there.
Or even a shield bay and say like or a med bay and an artillery is a pretty hard position to assault.
Yeah. Can the teams comment on their choice of encampments, perhaps?
All right, so you see that we have all boxes, all suppliers. And part of this is because we realized we had really bad power management the day before the submission deadline. So since we can't support a lot of units without good power management, we just sent them all to die. But as long as we spawn them fast enough, maybe they'll be useful.
Well, that's basically my approach when I play StarCraft. I mean, and it tends to work. I've gotten all the way up to the Gold League. It's excellent. I mean, you just basically, if you've got units, you just sort of send them out, right? I mean, it's going to be a good idea. And the other team?
We build boxes and lightning bolts. On second thought, maybe the lightning bolts weren't such a good idea because we tend to attack very frequently, but we build them anyway.
I mean, there's got to be something said for morale. Just having lightning bolts on your side?
Yeah.
I mean, you're practically, deified at that point.
So red team does have the macro advantage. Red has 1 generator and 5 suppliers, 2 blues, 3 suppliers. So red has the spawn rate advantage, but it's up to them to take advantage and kind of get more map control in order to win this match. You see that red is kind of just turtling in their base, trying to get a sufficient mass before they push into the blue army.
I think it's interesting that red did manage to overcome some of blue's positions, took out an artillery there.
Right, but what happens is red moves down to the bottom left corner, tries to defuse the mines, and while you're defusing, you can't actually attack, which means that it's a little bit of a miss micro by red, allowing blue to take out the larger force with a fewer number of units.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to advance in a minefield in the game and in real life. And they also say that minefields are very bad for land values.
Yep.
Just because it poses.
Are we gonna make it?
And they've gotten some hits off.
So red team now has a few hits off blue, which means if we get to the end of round timer, red will have the advantage. So once again, red team going straight for the kill.
I mean, I've been so impressed with how good-mannered these teams are, except face rollers. And so, I'm just so happy that we don't have them at each other's throats because we've got all this delicate equipment, and there's like a 2-foot drop here that they could be pushed off. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, and our keyboard frisbee.
My goodness, I didn't even think about it. How could I be so callous?
Let's fight. Oh.
Both teams opting to take the encampments in the top right and bottom right corner, while red has a little bit of a macro advantage due to the extra generator, although they're not actually using the energy provided by that generator.
Yeah, it's interesting to see blue went ahead and got that shield generator, and we're going to see whether that ends up being important.
So both teams opted for diffusion, allowing them to defuse mines at a faster rate, but in terms of tech, they're basically equal because they both have diffusion.
Yeah, now blue did lose the shield bay, and I wonder if he's going to rebuild it. And there it is. And there it goes.
So both teams at 13 to 16 suppliers, so giving them about equal spawn rates. So they're going to be swarming at each other at about the same rate. So right now the game is kind of in a little bit of a balance, unless one team manages to push out completely and win.
Wow, look at this work from blue, finding the corner base. My goodness. It's pretty rare to see teams actually move beyond the line between its base and the enemy base. But here we see it, and interestingly, red not being distracted by the little spy units, not going and sending his whole army in that direction.
Yeah, we have seen teams that just send their entire army to defend a small encampment of very little strategic value.
I mean, it's a very hard decision to make as a team, because a little encampment is a big thing.
So red again, trying to defuse the blue mines, but as they're defusing, they can't attack. The blue army just comes and destroys them completely. And once you have committed to defusing a mine, you can't stop.
Yeah, you can't stop till it's done. It's like opening a bar of Twix.
Or Pringles.
Yeah, actually, Pringles is a much better example, especially the sour cream and onion.
Yeah.
And we're being paid nothing from them to say so.
Exactly. They're not even a sponsor.
My goodness, Pringles, you're looking at me. I'm looking at you.
I think they have a hit on their HQ though, so
the team brings up a good point. Yeah, it does look like they bring up a good point, but they're not close enough to the mic for you to hear it. Yeah, they have a hit off on the headquarters.
So you'll notice in the top left that blue has maybe a pixel of damage on red, which means if this comes down to the round limit, we have about 300 rounds left. Blue will have the advantage, although they are advancing very close to red's headquarters.
Yeah, you know, I once had a pixel of damage on me, and the doctor said it wasn't anything to worry about.
That 3 suppliers, man, they just held it out. What? Huh? Was that right? I don't. Was that right?
We very thoroughly check all of the matches in advance.
Why did both HQs split?
And sometimes well, I was sort of kidding. We don't check them that thoroughly.
Yeah, you guys check that. That seems a little odd.
So, we're gonna get right on that. So yeah, Corey, I think we've seen some pretty interesting matches.
Yep. We've seen a number of one pure nuke-based team, one team that just kind of stays in their base, tries to macro out and build a nuke, and then a lot of other teams kind of either going for the early macro, getting a lot of buildings and then swarming units, or just going for a pure rush.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right thing for them to choose between those things based on what map we're seeing them on. And I'm really excited to see teams that are being flexible based on the maps that they get to see.
Yeah. So this team this year, the strategies were quite map dependent. So maps that have headquarters very close together allow for.
So I think what we've heard is that we're going to go on to the next one, and we can go back and investigate this one at the same time because we're that awesome. Yeah, our apologies if anything was not as it should be. Yeah. So yeah, we got some match running here at the moment, even though we can't see it here. And there we have it. So the next teams can come on up. I mean, you can trust that if it's in our capable hands, not mine specifically, but if it's in our hands collectively, then it's gonna get done in the best way possible.
Yep. So next round of the winners bracket, it's Gleany versus Tenubs. Gleany spawning as red, Tenubs spawning as blue. Gleany getting some points on nuke, also going for 2 early techs, so fusion and defusion, giving him kind of the macro advantage as well as the mine defusal advantage. We see Tenubs getting those techs, but a little bit later, while Gleany already has fusion up for a few rounds, so he's going to have he should have the army size advantage.
Yeah, I found it surprising that Gleany didn't choose to build any artillery right there in the middle. Seems like a good spot to me. But then again, Tenubs has gone ahead and gotten shields, so maybe it wouldn't have been worth it.
Yeah, so Tenubs having the shield plus macro advantage, going to be able to have more units and take out the headquarters. Once again, Gleany spawning top right as red, and Tenubs spawning in the bottom left as blue on Chaos Egg.
Let's hear from the teams a little.
So we've scrimmed a lot recently, and usually, yeah, okay. He's had trouble with rushes, I guess.
Yo, slow it down. So slow it down. What? Huh?
Yeah. So you've got a lot of support out there, haven't you?
Yeah, we brought our fan club.
I see.
And I think we need the moral support at this point because we're in the losers bracket.
So losers bracket now. At least it's not a startup versus. Would you guys like to introduce yourself again?
Yeah,
hey, I just met you. Oh.
And this is crazy.
That's all you get for free. Wait, which one?
So at least it's not a startup in the top right as red, defending against the swarm from Hey, I Just Met You.
Yeah, so we scrimmaged, Hey, I Just Met You, I think a couple times, and we usually win, so I'm hopeful.
They do.
As you can see, we have a lot of boxes. Yeah. And Hey, I Just Met You has just 1 box, and boxes are good, so.
I mean, I gotta go ahead and agree with that. I mean, we've got 13 boxes of Battlecode shirts out there, and everybody in the rooms, I'm sure, quite happy about that number.
It's true. Yeah, so we kind of tried to copy what Old School was doing. We saw that they were doing really good, and they seemed to only make 1 box. So we're like, oh, maybe we'll just make 1 box. But we don't really have the same microcode that the Old School team has.
So the problem is with 12 boxes, that gives you an effective spawn rate of almost 5 or below. So just too many units, and hey, it's not. Startup's going to take the game.
Yeah, now let's see if they go ahead and go for that rush strategy on this map where it's designed not to be effective.
So a large number of mines. Do you remember how many mines you put in the center of Chaos Egg?
Yeah, it's exactly 204. You know, it may very well be that number, but I actually, no, I'm just making it up.
So I think you can look at is the two defenders around our base. They try to make a very pretty mine pattern. They make a spiral.
Now, is that advantage in spawn rate going to be able to do it? Looks like not in this case.
All right, so we're going to game 3. We're going to keep doing our thing, just making one box and just going.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
see how it goes.
It's worth...
Looks like we throw some sort of exception. Good game.
So, I mean, there's a real possibility that these kinds of exceptions are related to the way that we've implemented the tournament. I don't want to exactly assign blame to any party or entity.
Yep.
Because after all, if a player works perfectly in rounds 1 and 2, I mean, there's nothing particularly special about round 3 that would be.
Nothing particularly special about round 3, but
yeah,
you know, sometimes.
Good morning. As you can see, we like guys, and we are building a lot of them. And then there's going to be artillery and lightning bolts.
Well, I gotta give props to that because I myself am quite a big fan of the artillery.
How's your sweet strategies?
Show 'em your soda.
Yeah. My strategy is to build shields if I see cannons. Otherwise, I just build suppliers.
So how do you know that you've seen a cannon?
Oh, I checked. So cannons are the only unit which can kill a soldier in one hit. So my HQ checks to see if a soldier with full health like mysteriously disappears, and then I'm like, oh no, and I build a shield.
So Soda, I noticed you're holding a soda there.
Yeah.
Is that your,
Yeah, I thought this would be a funny thing to do. So.
All right. So we see Soda has gone ahead and built that shield, and it's working.
So Soda has Team Blue dealing significant damage to the Red HQ. Red has the macro advantage with 7 suppliers to Blue's 5 suppliers, but the microcode from Blue is it's almost strictly superior, as you see Red streaming in individual units.
Oh, and against 4 artilleries just plowing through.
So Blue only needs 1 or 2 more hits off the Red HQ in order to secure the win.
Although he really doesn't have to do anything. He could just sit back and defend, and that wouldn't be so bad on its own.
Right, at this point, if he just waited for the round limit, he would just win by HQ damage.
Well, there you have it.
We'll win.
Does that bring it on to a game 3?
So
Or is that
game 2, ain't nobody got
Game
time
2.
for that. Spawning as Red in the top right of Chaos Egg, and Soda spawning as Blue in the bottom left. Soda having the
And there goes our hat.
1 win.
Oh, and a hat.
Go, hat, go.
So in this game, Cora, if you'd like to explain the
Yeah,
hat
so as you
mechanic.
see, the robot in the middle has put on a duck hat, I believe it is. It's a little bit too small for me to see. And I believe Soda uses it as a secret agent.
Yeah, the hats can be purchased for an extremely high energy cost, and they give you the ability to wear a hat.
Yeah, my secret agent doesn't always follow the rules, unfortunately, and sometimes makes my army make slightly suboptimal decisions, but...
Well, I think it's reasonable that any secret agent, there's limits in funds and such. They don't always get the chance to.
Yeah,
make
hey,
the
I
right
mean, James Bond still has a job, so...
I know, right? Yep. And despite all, he botches everything basically,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like he just messes it up. He gets caught. He's in the rack, and it's only because the bad guy takes so long explaining things that he manages to get out.
Yep, indeed. Yep. So a very heavily defended position by Red with the artillery you'll see in the Max's favorite artillery position. So it's very difficult for Blue to actually advance without using a large number of units to artillery fire.
Yeah, now look at this. Blue's just getting those boxes down there at the bottom left. Not really opting for much energy, but maybe it won't be an issue.
Yeah, so once again, a huge macro lead by Red with 8 generators and 16 suppliers. You'll notice that Red's energy count is in the 4,000s, almost breaking the 5,000s.
And that's going to let him build an infinity of encampments, and that might ultimately give him the advantage he needs to win.
Right.
We are hoping that we basically can just outnumber them. That's why we've invested so hard into the econ strategy, if you can't tell.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this is that like your increase in spawn rate is actually discrete. So you go from like, I think, what, 13 to like 20? So your spawn rate's the same when you have like 13 suppliers as when you have 14. But as soon as you get up to 20, like all of a sudden your spawn rate increases. So they could very well just like build one supplier and all of a sudden they have a gigantic advantage.
Yep. And we all know that the size of your suppliers matters in this.
So
I see what you did there. So I see some really interesting mind patterns going on here from Ain't Nobody Got Time for That.
Yeah, would you like to explain the little shape you're building in the corner?
So the mining pattern, we found that it increases by 6 nodes every ring around the HQ. And the way we've placed them is it calculates an X and a Y off of your central location. So we take a map that has a lot of encampments like this in the corners, and it's really optimal to try to keep them out of there for the encampment hunters, as well as just taking resources for themselves.
So about 200 rounds left in the match before both HQs start taking damage.
And Red has taken some damage, so he's going to need to do some attacking.
Right, so it is on Red to now deal damage to Blue's HQ to not lose to the end of round limit.
He's got such a macro lead that you got to think that he's going to make it, he's going to translate it into some HQ damage.
Right, huge macro lead. Red manages to always defend the Blue push, but neither team actually committing to the full attack.
Oh, and the nuke coming out of Ain't Nobody Got Time for That. Pretty surprising result, if I do say so. Pretty surprising result. I mean, I think it's pretty amazing that, you know, sometimes you think a map's going to go one way, and it ends up going the other.
Yep.
It just goes to show what a complicated game this is, and why Battlecode really had to move on from being a board game. It just couldn't stay
it's
board
just like,
game.
It's so much more exciting watching robots just annihilate each other than watching like board pieces, right?
Yeah, and you can't have seg faults and null pointer exceptions on a board game.
And like terminal windows like taking over.
Doesn't happen on a board game.
Yeah, exactly.
So the match is starting here. We're going to be opening with a rush. I think in our simulations, usually Face Rollers was doing pretty well against our rush, but it looks like it's working this time. Yeah.
All right.
We win. Yay!
Yeah. It was pretty close match, though.
Yeah, in our simulations, we usually lose, so this is kind of expected.
So once again, Team 0 top right as Red, and Face Rollers bottom left as Blue, both spawning again on Chaos Egg.
So our micro is mostly just trying to copy old school, because they were doing really well, so we decided that we wanted to do what they were doing. So basically just runs away and then tries to clump up on its enemies, and it looks like it worked pretty well this time.
So in that last game, a very rush-oriented strategy from Team 0, copying our Dropbox sponsors, who trolled the earlier tournaments by submitting a bot and winning unintentionally, I guess, the seeding tournament. Yep.
Now, that map was designed for rushes not to work, but I think basically you have to take into account that one encampment and make that an artillery. I think that's like the one way to do it, to make that artillery, the max artillery.
Yep. The max artillery, just taking that prime real estate, defending your entire position.
And sending your kids to a good school.
Indeed. Yep.
So we're straight on into another match with some teams we've seen before. Or aren't we? Haven't we? We have. Yeah. So Cordage, I think I remember you being a little bit more rush-focused in the earlier stages of the tournament. If you could comment on how your code has evolved.
Yeah, we completely changed that because the bot that you now see on the screen was beating our rush bot 100 to 3. So even though we were second in the sprint tournament with the rush bot, so we just changed to a different strategy.
So you make a practice of playing your own bots against one another?
Exactly. Yeah, we had several teams, about like 10 or 12, and we just played all matches between them, and we chose the best.
I think it'd be really interesting if one year a bunch of teams would get together and share all their code, and then all those teams would have like sort of an advantage over the other ones. Oh, things are happening.
So some damage on the blue HQ by red, getting around the defending encampment. Gonna go for the kill now.
Showing that you don't need to rush to do rushing-like things.
Yep.
So we're very vulnerable to someone who macros for a little bit and then goes after us, which is what he just did. So anyone who tries to nuke slower than us or tries to build up too much macro, that's what we're good against. But it looks like he's got basically the exact strategy that would beat us. So
yeah, so it would be sort of in these circumstances that we'd expect players to respond to the circumstances by using the team memory, whereby their team is able to remember things from previous matches and respond to those conditions.
Yep, we provide the teams with a little bit of memory to store kind of what they saw in previous matches and to maybe change their strategy, their overall strategy to what the other team is doing.
So it looks like on this map, the med bay is going to help us out a lot. So we rely on the med bay because we research nuke when we don't spawn soldiers. So if our swarm is up to size, we can keep spawning, we can keep researching nuke. So we use the med bay to heal up our soldiers who are injured. So instead of spawning them, we can just keep them out there in the battlefield.
So nuke is about halfway done, which means that the red team has gotten the nuke halfway signal, so they have the opportunity to respawn and actually block the nuke from finishing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty impressive that, you know, that they're able to do this defense. And if red would just go around from behind, you know, I think time and time again, we've seen these directional defenses. You know, the way I've set up the encampments and so on, and we're going to see it.
So 19 rounds left till nuke, 10 rounds, and blue will take the game.
Bye, guys.
So that one. Oh, so I've heard people suggest that it's a bad map. Is that what I heard correctly? Yeah. It could be that the map. Which map is it?
The map is called Boxy, I believe.
Oh, well, see, that's not one of mine, so that's why it's no good. See what I did there? I just threw him under the bus. It's like buses going by continually, so that you can throw your team members under that bus. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to fix up. We're going to fix up that map because, like, basically that's just not a working map.
Yep.
And I myself made a bunch of nice maps the other day, and I'm sure like a lot of them, like Chaos Egg, that's a great map. It worked every time we tried it.
And strategic too.
Oh, I thought you were saying my map was strategic.
Oh, no, I was referring to the map, strategic.xml.
Yeah, well, that's a very good map in its own way.
Yep.
Except that it isn't chaotic enough, in my opinion.
In the meantime, there's a very exciting match.
Oh, gracious. Well, then go on.
If you're fixing that map, that we might not. If you're fixing that map, then we might not be in this bracket.
Well, that's curious. I wonder.
But it could be an exhibition or something.
I wonder what we're going to. Yeah, maybe these are exhibition matches. I mean, if we weren't showing them, then the audience would just basically be sitting there.
All right.
So you can still enlighten them with all of your knowledge.
We're going to try to get a bunch of suppliers early, but in order to do that, we need to put a minefield around our place. So if they attack us with more guys, we might still have a chance. And then we just send guys in waves.
They're calling Steven.
So we are definitely in this bracket.
I think it's the map.
So if we manage to win now, that's still good for morale.
So the thing that activates shields for us is seed an enemy mine or seed artillery. And right now, it doesn't seem to be that useful because we're not getting far enough to get to their enemy mines.
So both teams going for very macro-based strategies, taking almost all the encampments in the top right and the bottom left. So they have equal spawn rates right now at 18 suppliers to 16 suppliers. And blue team stockpiling a lot more energy than the red team. So they have about 1,600 energy, which means they can spawn soldiers and upkeep them for a little bit longer than the red team can.
So a thing we do is we try to go to the nearest enemy to our HQ. So we might chase an enemy all over the map, but at least we won't desert our HQ. If we're fast enough at getting back.
So a unit advantage by blue right now, 32 units to 9 units from the red team. Blue is now attempting to push in and try to finish off the red HQ.
Also look at the top right, where we have a blue guy who's just
Yeah, kind of a
having good
lone
time.
soldier taking out all the red encampments, destroying the macro advantage. Gonna finish the red base. It's the map.
So we're non-existent right now, so they can't kill us.
So I think what we're seeing here is a very interesting map where we've got two of one team and 0 of the other team.
Does that mean we win by default?
And so what that means is, well, this is basically, well, we're making a political statement is what this is. It's that eventually, the world will reach a state where there won't be any violence.
Exactly.
Because
one side will just convert to the other side.
I mean, everybody will be owned by the same thing. We'll all be under the grand. Well, I mean, naturally, the people who don't exist in this perfect world will be the winners.
Exactly.
Because the rest of us will be under the horrible oppressors.
Exactly.
And those oppressors may be...
Like sometimes not existing in the dystopian environment is the way to win.
I think a lot of our audience members think they're under the impression that this was actually what we intended to show, and that they're just not getting the jokes that we're showing.
Exactly. Like we have so many inside jokes, like hats and like increasing the nuke round limit.
I know. I think gradually, if they don't get it yet, then it will begin to dawn on them that we may be in fact as big trolls as they are.
Yep. Just trolling them at the final tournament.
Yeah. So what we've got here is we've taken some of our devs and I guess we had them vanish magically, and they're going to do other magical tricks. During that time, do you guys want to I could tell a lawyer joke, or I could juggle. I'm not very good at juggling though, and all we have here are your phone, this cup full of Coke, and this thing. No, that's all right. Okay, I heard lawyer joke. Well, wait. So, Aaron, do you want to go back and see where the others are and see if you can? Anyway, this would be a good time for people viewing at home to watch a commercial, I guess. They could
earlier we were streaming this on Twitch TV, so we could click the commercial button and make mad money for Battlecode.
Yeah, let's pretend that I click the commercial button. Only instead it's the honor system. So what you have to do is imagine you're watching a commercial, and then you have to contact the company whose commercial you watched, and you have to tell them, hey, I just watched a commercial from you. It was great. I'm really convinced about your product. I'm still thinking about whether or not to buy it, but I need you to pay Max for the commercial that I just pretended to have watched while he was not that thing.
Yep. Or we could give a round to our wonderful sponsors this year.
Yeah.
Who have sponsored us and have been very gracious in allowing us to host Battlecode year after year.
Yeah. So big round of applause for our sponsors for sure. I wonder. I was just doing a very interesting match processing job where I took all of the qualifier matches and I was looking to see which team had accumulated the most power at any one time in the game. Because we've seen, some teams will have really good energy usage and they'll keep their money low, so to speak. And other teams, they get those lightning bolts and they get that fusion and they just let it build up. So I don't know, were you around when I told you, members of the audience, let's do a show of hands, who thinks, so there was a team, all right, that had the maximum amount of money at any one time in the whole set of qualifier matches, 106 matches, or 106 games, each consisting of 2 or 3 matches. So in all those matches, how much energy did one team get up to? Who here thinks that it was above 5,000? Because we've seen 5,000 already here. Okay, so
a large number of people think it was above 5,000.
A lot of people think it's above 5,000. Yep. What about above 8,000? What about above 8,000? Well,
all right, a round of hands for above 9,000 energy.
A round of hands for over 9,000. Well,
that's almost more than it was above 5,000.
I think there's a certain amount of enthusiasm and romance behind that quantity.
It seems like the best we can do is just
in the end, the actual amount of energy was about 8,300. So there you have it. It wasn't over 9,000. It's a giant disappointment. And there's no punchline to that part. It was team, I think it was like 235-ish. Let me check it out. Let me check it out. It was YOLO. Yeah, it was YOLO, that team. Yeah. Definitely. I think it was definitely YOLO. And there was like, if you go more, like 5 people down that list, the numbers were nowhere near as high. Nowhere near as high. Not even remotely as high.
Yeah.
Even
Although sometimes this isn't quite like, you don't necessarily want to be proud of this fact because you actually want to utilize all your energy so that you can spawn units and then actually use those units to attack rather than stockpiling the energy.
Yeah, I mean, I think our audience deserves, numerical results here. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can give you those numbers. I'll just sort of show them here. It's pretty exciting. So for those of you who don't use Mathematica, this is a view in Mathematica. So you see, Team 235 has 8,000 energy. And going on down, pretty quickly, when you go down the team list, you have quite a bit less energy as a maximum. Let's see what team had the least amount of energy. The least amount of energy is Team 208. Do we have a Team 208 rep here? You guys are just keeping your money low. StarCraft pros would be really proud of that kind of behavior for sure. All right, well, I'm gonna just switch right on back. So there's our splash screen. So we got any StarCraft players in the room? Yeah.
The goal is to just keep going.
So I think what we're gonna do. So the word has come in from the front. The battle and the fighting and those kinds of analogies. And it's that we're just gonna keep on going. We're just gonna keep on trucking. I think I'm not certain what those words mean when put together.
So I believe the plan is we're going to keep on going. They are going to rerun the matches in the back and make sure that it actually matches up with the current state of the bracket.
That seems like the most ethical and straightforward way to proceed.
Yep.
So, I mean, I would have done it the same way myself if I had been in charge. In fact, you could consider that because we're the member of the same team, that this is the thing that I did decide to do in the end.
Something like that.
It's weird. Sometimes when you lack control, you can convince yourself that the decision that was made outside your control is the decision that you yourself had made already, and it can make you feel better.
Just a warm, fuzzy feeling deep inside.
That's right. That's right. I feel better already. I think I'll get a sip of water. So let's see here. So progress, right? We've seen like probably 10 matches or so. I don't know. How many matches we've seen? Quite a few. We have a total of 30 tonight. We've already seen all the newbie matches. They were very exciting, albeit fast. There's the pro matches. We have like 28 of them because we decided to switch to 16 finalists instead of 8, which is great. I think it makes it very exciting and fast-paced. And it's like more convenient in some way. There's a really good reason for it, trust me. So we saw those, we got through them. We've still got sort of on the table that we're gonna be watching the rest of the pro matches, the main tournament matches, and then we'll be listening to some sponsors about what awards they wanna give out to the top teams. Mm-hmm. We would do that now, except that some of the play that they might describe could be in things that haven't yet apparently happened. And then we'll have dev awards. We have some special awards to give out. And then when you can go outside and you can get some of these awesome T-shirts. Like this T-shirt art, in my opinion, is like the bee's knees. You know? I don't think last year's art. You want to stand up, be our T-shirt model just a bit, Corey? Look at that. Look at what a sexy guy. I mean the T-shirt. It's like, yeah. Our artist this year, his name is Driggsy. He's Rodrigazo Abrot. He's from somewhere else. He's pretty far away. I think he's in California or something. And he really just knows what he's doing with a pencil and paper, or whatever it is artists use these days. I don't know, it's something like that. Yeah. So are we ready to pretend that nothing happened?
What?
You're ready?
All right, so would Team Gleany and Soda come back up?
All right, so I guess we're starting from where we left off, and it's assumed that the person who won those matches that never happened was like, I don't know how the tournament software really handles that question. Is it just give it to the one with the higher seed or something?
Galini's team has done very well against my bot actually on the scrimmage server. So this should be a close set of matches.
Oh, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Galini is a
Hey, next year I'll name my bot Youth Bot and just get it over with.
Oh, we're sorry, Galini. We don't mean to pick on you. We're really happy to have you here.
So once again, Galini as red and Soda as blue on Chaos Egg. Hopefully this doesn't go to a round of 3.
I mean, I myself, when I was, when I was doing Battlecode for the first time, it was pretty intimidating, to do it when you're not like on the campus and have like friends, just anybody who starts Battlecode from off campus and doesn't have like a whole support group is really taking the dive for something great.
Both teams you'll notice are a solo team, so they've actually been working by themselves to create this bots, and these 2 teams are some of the top teams on the scrimmage server and in the qualifying tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's a testament to the power of the individual and how when you get a bunch of people together, sometimes the work that they produce is actually worse than otherwise. You spend the whole time arguing and thinking, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do X, and then nobody does the thing because like it was we were gonna do it and nobody had like the responsibility to do it. I'm sure. Well, not that we've had any experience.
Someone
with
was going to check the match files, right?
That's right. Yeah. Like we check the match files, meaning no individual person at any time ever checked them. Yeah.
So that would put it at 1-1, taking us to a round of 3.
So yeah, I think this was like a dead map, was it?
Yeah, so I believe the issue with the map is that it just spawns 2 of the blue HQ, causing either the HQ to simultaneously explode from someone's code having a bug in it, or
for it to just last there for a while, which is like
Team A the win.
Which is because at that time if it was the same map, we did see that the 2 headquarters spawned, and they were just pretty much okay with it.
Indeed.
They didn't blow up or anything. I mean, I guess it's pretty interesting because I guess what happens now. You can tell me if you think this isn't right, but like a team might before the try-catch loop, they might assign the value of the enemy headquarters to like a certain variable so that they'll have it for later.
And then they try to find it and it's just not there?
Well, or when they try to make the assignment, they try to assign something to null, and then there's a null pointer exception, but it's not caught because they didn't expect there to be no enemy.
Yep.
But I think that's a really good point about like not so much philosophy, but just like about life. There's not always an enemy. Sometimes it feels like you're fighting against the whole world.
Yep.
Am I wasting time for no reason? Excellent. We'll move on.
So Cho Cookies versus Team 0. Cho Cookies as red in the top right, Team 0 as blue in the bottom left.
And the match is getting ready to get going.
So Team 0 is going to open up with our traditional rush. We'll see if it works or not. If the rush fails, we revert back to our macro mode for the next game using team memory. But sometimes it wins, and that's nice. The purpose of rushing, we were much more confident in our macro game, but we were rushing because some teams were being way too greedy, and it would really hurt our macro game if they're being too greedy. It looks like Cho Cookies might have been a little bit too greedy. Yeah.
So Team 0 going for a very rush-based win and just completely destroying the enemy HQ.
So let's see if that artillery gets taken. That's my big question. Oh, it's a box.
So Max's favorite artillery position is actually being made as a supplier, giving it no strategic advantage, but giving a spawn rate advantage for the red team.
So we kind of like these small maps because we do have some special code that deals with chokes and mines, but it looks like it's not working to our advantage. So I think we're probably going to revert to our macro strategy pretty soon if we don't die immediately, which we do.
And then third map.
And the third map we're going to lose immediately because we're Team Blue.
Yeah.
Life can be unfair.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can just replace the map, can't we?
We could, but we would have to
rerun
all the matches.
We would have to rerun all of the matches?
Yep.
Well, I mean, matches they take a long time to go through visually, but computationally, we've got Amazon Web Services, right?
That's true, one of our other sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, although they were sponsored past years, but I think we actually had to pay for them this year, which was kind of like a kick in the stomach. But the stuff they gave us kind of expired, and you can't use compute time when it's gone off. You can get sick.
Yep, indeed.
You can get a computer virus.
So Grumpy Cat versus Cordage. Grumpy Cat spawning in the top right as red, and Cordage spawning in the bottom left as blue.
Any teams excited to get to that third map there?
Not me.
So yeah, so Grumpy Cat, maybe a word on how grumpy you're feeling.
No, I'm quite happy I'm red.
So Grumpy Cat going for a more expansive macro-based play. We see 4 generators and 3 suppliers, a little more generators than he can actually utilize. Meanwhile, Cordage is going for a 4 supplier build, so much lower spawn rate. And you'll notice that blue is also using his energy a little bit more effectively than red is. So red has the unit advantage at 28 units to blue's 19 units. We see a lot of red's units just camping out at base, though. Would you like to talk a little bit about the defensive play?
Yeah, they just wait at the base until... If you could come up to them. They just wait at the base until they decide that there's enough of them to go, because usually the defender has a pretty big advantage.
So, but by waiting in the base, the unit gap has kind of closed a little bit, but then blue suicides units in, and then the gap widens. It looks like about 14 blue units to 25 red units. Red has the unit advantage, but is not pushing out to actually try to take the blue base. And with only 800 rounds left before the end of game timer counts, this is still anybody's game.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with how close this match is, and I'm interested to see if these little scouts are going to do anything from red. We going to be caught out of position?
So blue caught a little bit out of position, losing almost all his units, but still able to rebuild, sending about swarms of 15 units at a time to the red base, while red just eats it up.
Either team have a end of round plan? End of match plan?
Yeah, I do at round 2300, but not before.
Well, we're gonna have to be on the edges of our seats to see what he's gonna do. I guess that would be somewhat predictable.
So 6 suppliers from blue, having the unit spawn advantage, going to be able to rebuild his army every time he suicides it back into red, but the superior micro from red and kind of better unit clustering is just allowing red to continuously destroy the blue army every time it goes into red's base.
And he seems to be building up quite the unit advantage for what may be a somewhat surprising turn of events at round 2300.
So we are well past round 2300, about to hit the end of round cover.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet. That'll be 300 rounds after the timer has gone to 0. And so that'll happen when the headquarters are just below half health. And then something that we've all been waiting for will happen. But will he be able to get through that minefield that blue's got to deal a single point of damage?
So
that's going to be the question.
Both teams, no damage on the HQ. They're both going to decrease at the same rate. If neither team gets a hit off each other's HQ, the game will go, I believe, to red, who has more encampments currently, which is the tiebreak condition. It is 9 encampments to 5.
There comes the attack.
Will he be able to get through the minefield in time?
It looks like maybe not, but it might not be a problem.
So 8 encampments to blue's 5 encampments, so red will win this by default.
If I can distract him for another 20 turns or so.
So with 6 encampments each, the tiebreak condition was number of units, giving Grumpy Cat the advantage.
Wow, that's pretty close. I don't think we've seen such a close game before.
So this one, hopefully my artillery there will help, unless he doesn't rush, in which case it's worthless.
So Grumpy Cat 1 game up with the max artillery position, going for a lot of macro in the top right corner. And completely defending that blue assault on his base. So both teams kind of, red decides to go all to the top right to charge. There is a timing attack where blue could go and destroy the base, but red comes back and defends it.
Although 1 pixel of damage was dealt.
Right, so 1 pixel of damage. So if it comes down to the same scenario in the last game, we will have blue winning this match.
Uh-oh.
But Grumpy Cat looks quite grumpy. He's going to go for the blue base, attempt to defuse slowly into the blue minefield.
Wow, what a macro lead from Grumpy Cat.
14 suppliers and 8 generators to Cordage's 4 suppliers and 1 generator.
Uh-oh.
So Grumpy Cat seems to be caught in this position where he's built his 2 shields up at the top right corner, and he just really wants to charge over there, even though it's in a terrible location.
Uh-oh. Well, thank goodness that didn't go on to a round 3 and embarrass us further.
Why be?
So this one, yet another one of these maps where we've got encampments on top of mines.
So this is not very good at Battlecode versus Q on the map. I believe it's called Waves.
So it seems that neither of us have decided to make buildings, and we're just rushing each other.
So not very good at Battlecode as red in the top right, and Q in the bottom left as blue. Red going for kind of a diffusal strategy in order to access the encampments that are blocked off by the neutral mines.
Yeah, I gotta feel like that's ultimately gonna be a really good move for him.
Yep, so 2 shields, or one shield on the top right, giving red a little bit of an advantage on the heavily mined areas, going to be able to take out this blue advance in the middle of the map.
He's already got far more soldiers.
So not very good at Battlecode, securing another win. Clearly their name is a misnomer.
So can we get maybe a few words about your choice of strategy? Is it map dependent?
Yeah, our strategy depends on how far the distance between the 2 headquarters is when you consider the mines. So if it's a shorter distance, then we'll try and rush to them. If it's longer, then we may try and turtle. So this is when we believe it's a pretty moderate distance. So we'll kind of make macro, we'll make those suppliers up top and generators, and try and amass a lot of units.
So blue building that shield very close to his army, kind of trying to get all his units around it to charge up and then go for the final assault on the red base.
And that may have helped him a lot against those artillery.
So one thing is that when we rush and it doesn't work, we don't do it again. So this map, we would normally probably rush at the opponent, but we decided it wasn't going to work.
Uh-oh.
So
It's a really small map I made.
This map, I believe, is like the minimum map size, 20 by 20?
Yes, it's very small. You can see I have left some positions for artillery, and red has gone ahead and gotten the max artillery.
So blue went for the early suppliers and shield, but it's not going to help him with not enough units.
If only he would just get the max artillery. Oh. Granted, the enemy can probably reach you in the amount of time it takes to build. So yeah, we put on pause.
So own goal versus Tenubs. Own goal as red, Tenubs as blue in the bottom left.
So we're ready to get on going.
So it looks like we're applying the usual early pressure. I think it might backfire in this case because he's just, I don't know, it depends on if we trigger enough aggro for them to actually attack, because they can kill us right now.
Yeah, so a lot of early pressure from Tenubs, kind of like trying to poke the beast up in the top right corner that's deciding to just turtle, build a lot of units, and slowly carve out to those encampments, although those robots may have decided the encampments were too far away to actually go get.
Yeah, our robots got bored defusing.
Well, I myself get bored defusing things all the time. Oh my goodness.
Our chase.
So red finally making it down to the bottom right encampment location. I believe it's a 3x3 square of encampments, and they're going to build all suppliers and generators, giving them the trying to macro up. Although blue has already managed in shorter amount of time to get their encampments.
And they've gotten 2 of those sections. It's pretty even though.
So blue having the macro advantage right now, 5 suppliers and 4 generators with a lot more units. I believe it's like 35 units to 20 units, 20 red units. Red just lost a large number of units to that blue army.
We decide to pull back for some reason.
So blue decides to go back for some reason. Just they weren't feeling it.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna die on this though, because they've just got all our encampments.
Not sure.
So blue dealing some damage on the red HQ, but deciding like this was not the day to kill red.
Yeah, and the encampment numbers are roughly even because of that middle encampment section that the red has at the top.
Right, so red has 2 or 3 of the...
I don't know why you're doing that. I mean, we should be dead already.
We are very conservative, apparently.
So blue trying to give red a little bit of a kind of a honest match, letting red rebuild units. Gonna go and try to destroy it, but at some point, they may go back.
He's gonna overpower us. All right.
All right, own goal versus Tanubs again. Tanubs being 1 up, spawning as blue in the bottom right, own goal in the bottom left. A very short rush distance map. I believe we call this one Sabisli.
Sabisli.
Or Tabisley. It was supposed to be like a city of the world, but...
Oh yeah, cities of the world.
Cities of the world map pack.
I love the cities of the world map pack. Each city having nothing to do with the city of its name.
At 1 pixel of damage. Yeah, you guys. I think you've got this.
So 1 pixel of damage by the blue team on the red base, giving blue the advantage if it gets to the end of the round.
Our rally point is well placed.
Interesting.
So blue rallying to the bottom right. Not a very effective rally position, but I believe their superior number advantage will allow them to actually take out the red base.
Yeah.
And that's game.
So let's see here. I'm seeing something interesting. Wow, look how far we progressed in the bracket. The losers bracket is getting up to its conclusion, and that's gonna give us a chance to see who's gonna win. I mean, wow, what an exciting tournament so far.
Yep, it's a lot of different teams with very interesting strategy. I think we've only seen 1 real nuke in this whole game, which is quite surprising.
That's true. In the previous tournaments, it's just been 1 nuke bot after another, and with the number of mines we put down on the map, it's not. I don't think it's quite as exciting as we've seen.
Yeah. So with 2 nuke bots, sometimes we were just sitting there watching both teams build nukes, and it was quite uninteresting.
Yeah, I mean, because then it's like, okay, one team gets a robot and then nuke, and the other team just gets nuke. And it's like, okay, foregone conclusion.
Yeah, so whoever finishes the nuke, even if both teams start the nuke at the same time, Team A always gets the advantage, just because we thought that was the way it should be.
Yeah, so for a long time, I was arguing that we should I mean, it's such an edge case, really.
Sure.
Such an edge case. It should never really happen. And the most robust code that can be made is of course entirely weak and vulnerable to little edge cases, because it's too much of a hassle to put that in.
Sure, sometimes you just detect 2 HQs of your own team, just implode.
I mean, I include that first thing before I even put in movement.
I see.
Sometimes, anyway. So what was I saying before this? Some pretty good matches.
Some pretty good matches from both teams. A lot more macro play than we were actually expecting.
That's right.
The devs, we were actually afraid going into the qualifying tournament that we actually had nukes be a little bit too strong, but it was a little bit too late for us to change anything because we didn't really want to throw any of the contestants under the bus.
Yeah, that's right. We thought the nukes were too strong, and I was arguing for a long time that we should increase the nuke timing, right? and increase the map size. And what that would do is it would make nukes, see, like it balances it out, because
Sure.
nukes and map size are sort of counterbalancing, but it would make econ more favorable over rush. So there's like basically three things. You can go for an econ play, get those encampments, you can get a nuke, or you can rush. This is sort of like the rock, paper, scissors this year, where it's like more strategy based and less, unit composition based.
Yep.
And so that was what I was suggesting, but I think it was a good idea, Corey's suggestion and others who were saying, okay, well, it's true that that's how these matches have been going, but if we just give it time to settle out,
Sure.
then players will begin to adapt to those strategies. Sort of like when Blizzard releases a unit that's way OP and they do nothing about it because they expect players to solve it.
Yeah, sometimes we run into this issue where if we balance too much, we tend to overbalance because we think something may be overpowered, but it's just that the players haven't really discovered a way to counter the current dominant strategy on the ladder.
Yeah, I mean, in previous years, we've had things that were, obviously overpowered, and then there were other things that were like way underpowered, and then we just made them important at the last second. A lot of people didn't even know. Like, for example, in what was it, last year? There was the hammer that showed up out of nowhere. It was a component that you could attach to robots.
That was 2011.
Okay. Well, time passes really quickly when you're having fun. And what's more fun to do with your time than play Battlecode?
Indeed.
It's weird, because when you say, like, I'm going to go do Battlecode, it's not like I'm going to go work. It's not like I'm going to go... It's like I'm going to play Battlecode. It seems... it's like the difference between the United States is and the United States are. It was, before the Civil War, they would say the United States are, and then after, they'd say the United States is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because basically, it wasn't about slavery. It was about federalism. It was about states' rights. That's true. It's a true story. It's about states' rights and how it became, sort of a centralized government. And so similarly, do you say, like, at what point do you transfer? At what gigantic bloody struggle does there need to be between saying something is work and play?
I don't know what to say to that, Max. So I see here we are currently unzipping some new final matches.
I think unzipping them is the right thing to do.
Yep.
At this stage, and you know what? One thing that's really exciting about unzipping is I'll leave it to you to finish that in your imagination. So yeah, maybe you can say a few more words about the Cities of the World map pack.
Yeah, so Cities of the World map pack was actually all done by a single dev. Kind of our balance idea was if nukes were too strong, we would kind of, instead of like changing map size completely, we would just start with a canvas of complete mines and then kind of carve out little sections of it in order to nerf nuke a little bit, but not actually change the game constants.
So how does having a lot of mines, for somebody, a dullard like me, how does that nerf nuke as a strategy?
So mines really take, I believe it's like 15 rounds to defuse.
It's like 12 rounds
12
to defuse,
rounds to defuse, sorry.
Unless you've got the diffusion capability.
Right, getting diffusion capability brings it down to 5 rounds, and then teams are able to cut through the minefield and get to the nuking team a lot faster and defend against it. So one thing we were really hoping to see, actually, that not that many teams have implemented was leapfrog diffusing, or what we call leapfrog diffusing.
Yeah, so when you get the defuse upgrade, I don't know how clear we made this, but if you have the defuse upgrade, then a unit can defuse a mine within its vision. It doesn't have to be next to the mine it's defusing. It can be, basically, you get the vision upgrade, and you've got, 33 square root vision.
Yep.
That's your radius, the square root of 33, on account of that being such a fantastic number, balance-wise. And then you can defuse that mine at a distance. It's like basically this robot's sitting there with his pole, and he's like hitting it until it blows up.
So what happens is before you get the diffusion upgrade, if you're running into an entrenched position by the enemy that has a ton of mines there, and you try to defuse it, you can't actually attack. So because you can't attack, the enemy can move any small number of units and destroy you as you're defusing the mines, which gives the defender actually a huge advantage for teams that don't attempt to leapfrog diffuse from behind soldiers who are on the front line.
Yeah, I think we've seen this time and again. You have like an army of 7 or 8 soldiers, like a massive army, right? defusing the enemy mines right outside the enemy headquarters.
And then they just completely wiped out by a single unit.
Yeah, and they're just sitting there, and like every time they go in to defuse the single unit, you know, he steps back, he jumps forward, he jumps back. He's like that really annoying guy in Ultimate Frisbee who just like is much better than everyone else and knows it. You know that guy?
Yep.
That guy, he's not wearing his shirt.
Yep.
And his chest is hairless and sweaty.
But he's just grabbing the Frisbee every single time.
He just grabs that Frisbee every time, and like maybe he's got like a little bracelet that he wears that's like slightly long, and it hits you sometimes, and it stings. It almost stings as much as knowing that you're never going to be as good at him.
This is such a vivid image, Max. I don't know where you're getting it from.
You know, my mind is an interesting place to live. Let me tell you that.
All right.
But no, this kind of thing actually did happen to me, though it wasn't Ultimate Frisbee. It was one of those. It was like Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, this guy's now gonna know. Hi. So I guess eventually, like ultimately, I could end up having my own fan club because like Okay. Well, the trouble is, like, for those of you who came to lecture, which is like a pretty significant number of people who came to lecture, you've already heard basically my whole stock of lawyer jokes, the good ones. Like, throughout my whole, middle school life, I was looking for lawyer jokes that I loved to like find the ones that really made me laugh, made other people laugh. So I would like go through the internet and I would look at them, and I'd find just like a little nugget like this one. And so I already told you like most of the ones that I really like. So I guess here's a lousy one. This is a really lousy lawyer joke. Man, I gotta learn how to do like certain entertainers. It doesn't matter what they're telling you or what the like punchline is because they set it up so well. So like I gotta learn how to set things up. But the idea being, okay, so here's the joke. Here's this lousy joke. This lousy lawyer joke that one of you wanted to hear and the other ones are now gonna have to sit through. Is So there's this really old lawyer, okay? It's a really old lawyer, and he wakes up in the morning and everything's white, and he looks around. He's like, okay, I guess I've gone blind. And then he sees a face, and then he notices that the face is actually the face of a man who is in white robes, and he goes up to the face and he's like, hey, why can I see your face and nothing else? And he's like, oh, you're in the clouds. You're in heaven. And he's like, what? I'm in heaven? And he's like, yeah, you're in heaven. You've died. And the guy's like, whoa, wait. How have I died? I may be old, but I'm not that old. I'm only 60, and in this day and age, people are supposed to live much longer. And the St. Peter, who's the guy he's talking to, who's in heaven and who's like does roll call. He says to the lawyer, "Oh, is that so? You're only 60? I'm afraid I don't agree with that assessment." And he's like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I counted my birthdays right. I was born at this year, and I'm this many years old." And then the St. Peter's goes, "Well, technically, just because you're born in a certain year doesn't mean you're a certain age." Because of relativity and other issues, there are fancy things in the universe. I should know, given that I'm kind of in a position to see things either from above or from within, depending on the way you see religion. And so St. Peter's is basically telling this lawyer like, no, you're actually a lot older. And the lawyer's like, well, on what basis do you say that I'm so old? And how old? And St. Peter's like, okay. So as you can see in this record book, this is the list of all the work that you've done, and from the number of hours you've billed, you must have lived to be 240. So there you have it. The only thing better about that joke than the fact that like it indicates just how much they overcharge. And like if they're already charging $400 an hour, why do they have to inflate the number of hours anyway? But the only thing better than that was that the lawyer actually died in the joke, so it's like it's good. I like that. So sort of following up on the tail of that joke, I'll tell another one about another lawyer who dies. Gosh, I guess that happens in quite a few of them. I have nothing against lawyers Please don't invent some arbitrary thing to sue me about. I know you can do it. We've all broken the law accidentally because none of us understand even the remotest part of the law. Oh my goodness. So just don't come after me. If you haven't got a sense of humor, that's your own problem. No reason to take it out on me. Yeah, I heard a yeah. Okay, so the next joke about the lawyer who died. So he's sitting there on. Gosh, I know sort of the punchline of this one. We're going back like 10 years here for the lawyer jokes that I'm telling. Like I'm dredging them up from the depths, and these aren't the good ones either. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel, all right?
So I believe what's happened is we have completely rerun all the matches. We're going to start where we left off, but the bracket has been fixed to account for the matches since the only things that were broken were the matches we just played. The actual results will be reflected in the updated bracket on the screen over there.
Wow, that's really cool. So maybe you want to just like sort of summarize some of those things, some of those matches that went to a third round.
So I believe it was Gleany versus Soda. Was that a round of three
I think
match?
it might have been.
So Soda won that match. Bad versus Hey I Just Met You. Bad won that match. Between Cho Cookies and Team Zero won the match. And between Grumpy Cat and Cordage, Grumpy Cat won the match.
It's pretty interesting. I can say that I'm quite glad that we've gotten to this stage. We've done the right thing. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten a chance to see those matches. But thank God I don't have to remember the setup for that other joke.
So we're just going to keep on going. So it's currently Team Zero versus Grumpy Cat, I believe, for the bottom of the losers bracket right now.
All right. So we'll get right on started. You want to hit the go button?
So Team Zero spawning in the top right as red, and Grumpy Cat spawning in the bottom left as blue.
No one can see.
And no one can see.
Oh, well, seeing is believing.
So Team Zero and Grumpy Cat were both top 3 in the ladder in scrimmage rank if you take out Old School. So
Old School doesn't count.
Old School doesn't count because they weren't allowed to compete. So this should be a pretty good match. I think Grumpy Cat will do a pretty good job of defending our early rush because he gets artillery. And then we should transition to our macro game and there we both defend and don't attack. So it should be pretty interesting. It might crash your computer because we both build units a lot.
It's not what?
You got it. Yeah.
It's not what? So sometimes when you plug in a computer, it detects a display, and other times it doesn't. And sometimes it's been plugged in the whole time and has been working for the last 4 hours and then doesn't detect the display.
Yeah.
I've done that myself. I've walked into rooms and detected very few displays when there are in fact many. So I guess that means that I'm going to end up having to tell you this joke. Okay, so here goes. So this old lawyer is on his deathbed, and
there we go.
So he's on his deathbed, and that's the splash screen. Doesn't mean things are working. We just put that thing up there so that you don't see the blood and guts of the thing. It's ugly. So he's on his deathbed. My goodness, this has become dark. So he instructs his nurse to go do a bunch of errands for him, and his family's around, and ultimately he dies, and that's part of good thing. And then his friends and family they talk to the nurse, and they're like, what did he have you do? And she's like, well, it's in the attic. He just had me move some things around. I don't know what it was for. And they find right above where he was sleeping in the attic, so directly above, there was bags full of money that he was trying to take with him. As his soul ascended through his body, he was going to grab the bags of money and take them into heaven so he could buy all the things. And then they go, oh, silly guy. I knew he should have put them in the basement.
So maybe we'll have some of the teams, meanwhile, just talk about their general Battlecode experience.
Oh, Battlecode.
Yeah, Battlecode, yeah.
Yeah. So your experience with Battlecode?
Grumpy Cat and Team Zero, would you guys like to say a few words about your bot in general, or how you found the ladder the ladder
Sure.
rankings to be?
So this was our first year doing Battlecode. We did pretty well on ladder. It was a good experience. We tested a lot. I think we had the most recorded matches on ladder out of any team. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. We like the reason why the server was so slow all the time. We focused a lot on our macro strategy, but we ended up not showing it off very much because all the maps are so small. But we have some really cool line formation when we get a lot of guys. It helps us a lot in our attacks and defenses. Yeah, Grumpy, Kathy, want to say anything?
So Grumpy, you've been consistently at the top of the ladder for most of the competition. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, so as you can see, I may be at the top of the ladder, but it's still extremely map dependent. So, for example, Pickaxe Nuke, it's pretty good on certain maps, and it's really hard to beat. Unless you go Rush, but if you go Rush, then you lose to what I do. So you just sort of have to pick a strategy and go with it.
Yeah, I guess the big thing this year was Pickaxe Nuke, which was really easy to code, but really, really good. It took like 4 hours to code, but then you just build mines and pickaxe and nuke. But it ended up being really, really good.
Yeah,
and it got
ends up
nerfed
being-
the last week, which was good.
It ends up being like the dominant strategy, like in the second tournament.
Yeah. When we had we had a tool that would do lots of test matches for us. So we programmed like 10 bots or something, and then we would just scrimmage against each other until they nerfed Pickaxe Nuke. Pickaxe Nuke was our best bot, even though we spent the least amount of time on it.
So if you could change one thing about the competition that you haven't mentioned before.
And not relating to the final tournament.
And not very well done, Corey.
I got to block that one off right now.
Yeah, then what do you have in mind? New units, new upgrades, new hats.
I think new hats have been good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think hats were a little bit too nerfed. The power cost is pretty big.
It is.
We wanted to wear hats, but it was 40 power and 5,000 byte codes.
Yeah. It's
Yep.
true. It's a bit expensive.
So in kind of a money grab DLC sort of way, we decided we really need to up the cost of hats.
Yeah, I mean, the energy that you spend in Battlecode goes into the Battlecode coffers.
Yep.
And even when you run test matches locally. Oh, we've detected a display.
How do you display them both if only detecting one?
Well, you mean on the right? You mean the bracket on the right, or do you mean the?
It's displayed on that screen and that screen.
There's a splitter. There's a splitter.
There's a splitter.
Oh, okay.
There's advanced technology. We've got wires that convert one signal into another signal just in the wire. It's that awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, it's not looking good for me. It seems like.
So Team 0 and Grumpy Cat will begin the match.
There's a bit of a clipping on the left, but I guess we're going to live with that. So it'll be a little bit hard to use the UI.
So Grumpy Cat wasn't very greedy, so I think he'll actually do pretty okay against our rush.
Yeah.
Usually when our rush works is because they built 4 encampments before they started building units. So I think it probably won't work too well. If it lasts until round 400 without dying, we're going to retreat and go into macro mode. Otherwise, we might just die. Oh, I was speaking that way. That was pretty bad.
So we see Grumpy Cat having 28 units compared to Team 0's 10 units. Grumpy Cat kind of taking the defensive position while Team 0 is rushing across, trying to break Grumpy Cat's kind of cluster ball. Not really being able to push in with so few units streaming in one at a time.
Yeah, we see.
All right.
Yeah, you see, we detected that we were not seeing with our rush, so we were going to immediately. Oh gosh, I'm doing it again. So we detected that we were not succeeding with our rush, so we're going to back up and just take bases and macro. With luck, we'll be able to take encampments. There are mines on them, so there's a good chance we won't be able to take them though.
I keep building far too many generators. I'm not sure why, but it's sort of unfortunate.
We actually had the same problem. We started out with a generator when we planned to go supplier first.
So I guess the way we do macro is a little bit different than other teams, and that we don't have a set build order. A lot of other teams would go supplier, generator or something, whereas we look at a number of units we have on the map and then build suppliers and generators based on that.
So both teams having more generators than suppliers, which isn't actually optimal because you can't really spend that energy if you don't have the suppliers.
It looked like our equation broke a little bit here. It tends to do poorly when we're losing a lot of units at the same time, or we have too many units at some point.
So notice in the bottom right, there's that lone soldier kind of taking out all of Red's encampments, bringing down the supplier count for Team 0 back down to 3.
Team 0 has had a couple of bits of paint scratched off it. It does have a few points of damage.
Yeah, so around 10 damage to the Red HQ. So if this drags on, Blue will win this game.
So Grumpy has some really good harass there.
Yeah.
We were supposed to send one guy down to protect the encampment, but he had 3 guys harassing, so it didn't go so well.
A couple of spies going ahead and dealing more damage.
Yeah, it looks like Grumpy Cat's going to take this match.
So Grumpy Cat at 23 units to Team 0's 17 units. Grumpy Cat also with the macro advantage, 5 boxes and 5 lightning bolts to Team 0's 2 boxes and 3 lightning bolts.
We are retaking some of the encampments at the bottom of the map, though, and we have our own harassers at the top of the map, top left there, you see, that's distracting a lot of their army, but they're not doing that much damage. Grumpy Cat's doing a good job of protecting his encampments.
I wonder if it's made a difference that Grumpy Cat was the one to get defusion and that Team 0 didn't get defusion. I mean, it's a map that's pretty heavy on mines.
Yep, and it looks like, I mean, with Grumpy Cat having more map control, he does have that center bottom encampment, giving him like 6 suppliers, giving him the game too. All right, again, Team 0 versus Grumpy Cat. Grumpy Cat 1 up, spawning on the bottom right, where Team 0 is spawning on the bottom left.
Look at those max artillery.
Yeah, Team 0 opting to build 2 artillery in the bottom left, right in front of his headquarters. Going to be able to defend that pretty well.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of props to that.
So yeah, we detected this was a small map, so we built a lot of artillery on it. We'll see if we detect that there's enemy artillery or not. We're supposed to be looking at how many points of damage our units could be taking this turn.
Look at that forward artillery at
so
Team
that
0.
Forward artillery deals splash damage. It deals a large amount of damage to the square it hits, and then also splash damage around it in the 8 squares around the initial target.
Yeah, it looks like our macro is going pretty well, but we are just suiciding a lot of units into the enemy because they have artillery as well in front of their base.
So Team 0 taking almost all of the map and that forward artillery containing Grumpy Cat within his little mine square position in the bottom right.
Now here at the top, you could see that one artillery is close enough to be shooting at those lightning bolts, but he just isn't doing that.
So the problem here is that we move up to protect our farthest away encampment. So we're going to continue to suicide a lot of units into the Grumpy Cat. I don't know who's going to win this match. It looks like we're making some headway, though.
Yeah, that artillery's been taken down from Blue.
Yeah.
This is going to be pretty key.
I think we might be able to break through here.
7 suppliers from Team 0 to Grumpy Cat's 1 supplier. So at Team 0 almost 2/3 faster than Grumpy Cat in spawning additional units.
Yeah, you'll see our macro's a little bit off this game. We have 6,000 energy.
Yeah, so 6,000 energy, but you do have the unit advantage. I believe it's like 8 units to 1 of Grumpy Cat's, and finally dealing damage to Grumpy Cat's HQ. This could end up to a game of third game.
My guys are surprisingly resilient, though. They're.
It's holding off against very strong odds.
And for some reason, we have to.
We should be staying in our forward artillery.
Yeah, so Team 0, after gaining the advantage, has just decided that he doesn't want to move in and finish a common strategy that we've seen throughout this tournament.
It looks like it's going to work, though. We finally managed to mass up enough units to go kill him.
So Team 0 taking the win, making it to a 1-1 situation.
Have we seen this map before? That's coming up. Yeah, we've seen this once before.
This map is called Turbine, I believe, made by you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a really close map, but we don't see either team going for the rush.
I think we're going to take a second artillery here, which would probably nope.
Artillery is the key unit to get here, in my opinion.
So both teams, yeah.
Go too well for us.
Yeah, I don't know why we're attacking.
Both teams getting the max artillery really close. And an advanced artillery from Red.
It all depend on whether we manage to pull Grumpy Cat's units into our base or not. If we do that, we might die. Oh gosh, I'm really bad at this. If we manage to pull Grumpy Cat's units into our base, that could be pretty bad. If we manage to make it go into the late game and maybe out macro them a little bit, it could go pretty well.
Oh, but look at that number of lightning bolts. I don't think that distribution is really quite optimal.
So Grumpy Cat taking 26 units on the map right now. Red, 3 or so units every time they spawn a unit, kind of streaming in, losing it to Blue. That artillery is preventing Blue from moving out, really, but Blue has the macro advantage right now. 2 suppliers, 3 generators.
Do you notice how it says the rounds are 4,400 now? That doesn't make sense.
I feel like that's another bug.
I feel like some of this stuff is not making sense.
Well, you know, we always like to throw curveball now and then. And sometimes that.
Like the long game.
Oh, that's what's happening. Our guys have detected the round is.
Yeah,
Wait,
we're
our code
detecting that
detected
the round is
too-
high.
It's too high, so we're constantly attacking.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
So.
Oh, wait, that's why my guys. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That makes
And that's why
all
we're
my
getting
guys are going
generators,
crazy.
too.
So in yet another curveball, we've made the match round limit 6,000 or something, apparently.
You know, it's weird. It's weird because I have a map editor that doesn't let you change the number of rounds in the map. So I don't see why this would.
But this is your map.
It is my map.
It is your map.
I'm going to go ahead and own up to the fact that it's my map, but I'm going to go ahead and try to throw an anonymous person under the bus. Save
All
my
right,
skin.
well, looks like I have it now.
Yeah. So our code there triggered that we were just like constantly attacking because we thought it was
Well,
over 2,000
wait, no, actually,
rounds.
no, that doesn't make sense because it would only be if it. That wouldn't
it's
actually
not
change
total
anything
number of
unless,
rounds,
yeah, it
right.
doesn't count down, it counts up, right? So it's only if it really went over 2,000 rounds that it would trigger.
Does it? I don't know. I have no clue what happened.
Well,
Are we gonna fix it or just
I
let
think
it
it
go?
might have been right.
well, because I don't think it went above 2,000 rounds.
It didn't actually go above 2,000 rounds, so the
or
game.
Did it? I think it started at 6,000.
I don't know what it started at, so.
Quick rush from Q. If it was.
Yeah, quick rush from Q versus Bad. All right, Q having one game again versus Bad as blue in the bottom right.
Yeah, and we can get sort of the chopped off bit to come back. Thank you very much, Vlad.
So Bad kind of turtling in their base, waiting for Q to engage. Q going to go for a more rush-based strategy, not building any sort of macro buildings or encampments, and just going straight for Blue's army.
I think those three suppliers, going to make a big difference here.
So Blue, with 3 suppliers, bring their spawn rate down to 8 from 10, so a two-round unit cooldown reduction. Going to be able to build units a little bit faster than Red, but if the game drags out, it should pay off.
Yeah, and I see he's also got diffusion. How he managed to get time for that during this really, tight rush, is really amazing.
So that forward artillery from Blue going to be able to clean off all the Red units and allow the Blue army to advance, take out the Red army.
So since we rushed and lost, we're not going to rush again.
So
actually.
I believe the,
so it started
the
at
number
5,000.
started at 5,000, so it didn't actually make a difference.
Didn't
in the
make
last
a
game.
difference. Nope. It would be undetectable. Oh.
That wasn't Russian, but it turned out to be like that.
So we're going to bring it down to a third match. Is that? No, that's not right. One of them won. There you go. Wow, pretty exciting.
So now it's Own Goal versus Grumpy Cat, both trying to fight their way out of the losers bracket. Whoever wins this match will continue on in the losers bracket, and whoever loses will drop out of the tournament.
I mean, with a place, probably.
With a place.
With a place. I mean, these teams.
And some prizes.
I want to emphasize all these teams have done very well, and we're all impressed with their code. And we're about as impressed with what they've done as they are unimpressed with how we've set it up.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So I built an absolutely awful artillery, but maybe that'll be okay.
So Own Goal on the top right, kind of mining up their area, not building encampments yet. Grumpy Cat building an artillery in the bottom middle-ish, so it's not actually going to provide that much of a strategic defense for them, but he does have the macro advantage at the moment.
Well, it could also defend against harassment, but that wasn't intended.
I mean, I did see that artillery take a few shots off. I wouldn't put him in the rust bucket until I've really seen.
a few shots off on the
here and
artillery right there.
Oh yeah, and taking some damage. I've often wondered, is it valuable to build, like a supplier just to take hits? Because it takes more hits than a soldier does.
So in the top right, Lone Soldier taking out a large number of Red's encampments, kind of the secret agent soldier / harasser that we've seen. Almost all of Red's encampments in the top were destroyed by that single soldier. Another one in the bottom right, destroying all of Red's suppliers.
God,
so giving
so much harass.
a ton of harass, giving Blue the macro advantage. Grumpy Cat's just going to be able to stream constant number of units and completely out macro Own Goal.
We really don't get a good start on this map because
Own goal moving a bunch
yeah.
of units in, but not actually going to be able to take out the blue base.
Our units like try to dig toward the encampments and then they get bored and then they just head back to the HQ. They're just too far away.
So Grumpy Cat at 6 suppliers and 7 generators, continuing to macro up and also build shields on this map.
Yeah, teaching us real lessons about perseverance. You know, you keep digging those mines.
Okay, you guys got this.
Eventually, you'll get to the other side.
Yep.
Two more though. Two more.
Grumpy Cat with 1 game up versus Own Goal, spawning on Sabisli, the map that has nothing to do with the city.
Is that how you pronounce it? Sabisli?
I have no
I
idea.
always called it Tbilisi.
Tbilisi, that could be it.
I don't know if that's right.
Grumpy Cat taking that forward artillery now in a much more useful position in front of the HQ and getting a few encampments. Own Goal having the macro advantage right now, but the positional advantage with that artillery is going to make it very difficult for Own Goal to push in. Artillery getting off a few shots, giving Grumpy Cat the initial advantage in that first engagement.
I haven't seen a lot of teams pull off a counter. You know, after a failed attack from the enemy, you don't see a lot of, immediate waves coming back, and I feel like that's the right timing.
Yeah, sometimes teams will just, once they lose a battle, they'll still continue streaming soldiers in, not regrouping and actually trying to go back with a larger assault.
Uh-oh. I hope my guys are going to go up there and kill their buildings, but they seem to be stuck.
Oh.
So the 2 harassers from Grumpy Cat in the top left are actually stuck on a few mines, not actually able to take out all of Red's units.
There they go. Go.
I'm really mad.
So top left,
I'm really mad
a
about
single
this.
harasser destroying 5 or 6 encampments, all from the red base. You see, Red had the unit advantage, but once all the loss from these, it'll actually kick in.
Red takes out a few of Blue's encampments, but he's quite far behind. Wait, no, that's not right. He's about even. He's got 9 suppliers to 7.
About even. So Grumpy Cat managed to even the field. Some damage on Blue's HQ, but the single soldier is actually able to defend it.
Meanwhile, Red taking more bases in the top.
More encampments.
Getting more encampments. He's got 13 to 6. I think it's gonna be hard to resist.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So now we're back to Turbine.
Back to Turbine, the map with 5,000 rounds. So hopefully this game ends before 2,000.
Yeah, why don't
the counter hits
we
2,000.
hit the slower buttons? Because it's just such a short map. It could be over in an instant.
So Grumpy Cat, once again, taking the single artillery, going to be able to defend, but by taking that artillery, he's sacrificing his macro. So hopefully what happened last match didn't happen this match.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the unit advantage is just going to translate here for him.
Yeah, got this.
So 12 units to one of Red's units who gets destroyed every single time it spawns. It's kind of like a spawn camping, you know?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're here and if you're listening and if you think that my word has any merit, I don't think camping is a legitimate strategy.
So once again, the standard stand around the opponent's HQ and not actually move in. You'll notice that Grumpy Cat only actually attacks the HQ every time a single soldier spawns. There we go.
I wait till I have diffusion.
Oh, okay. All right, that's it.
So,
all right, not very good at Battlecode versus Tenubs on, I believe this map is called Underground.
What position are these guys competing for? I see they're at the end of the winner's bracket.
So I believe that artillery is going to do.
I believe this is for the semifinals.
All right.
So the winner of this match will advance on to play the winner of the loser's bracket.
Oh, this is cute. They're like little flowers up there.
Looks like red team is building a nuke. Hopefully our shield will.
So not very good at Battlecode, going for the nuke in kind of his spare rounds, but he probably won't have enough time to actually get that nuke off.
Oh,
Taking damage.
Those shields really may be doing the thing for him.
So Tenubs taking the win. Early win from Tenubs against not very good at Battlecode.
Oh my gosh.
This map, I believe we called it Careful, because you have to be very careful.
It's interesting. I wonder if the same microcode works on this map that you would use for another map, or if you know it would favor one team over another.
So the rush distance on this map is actually very short if you just take the diagonal.
Yeah.
So if you don't step on the mines, you can actually get to the other base very fast. But if the moment you try to go through the checkerboard pattern, you're going to be very slow at getting to the opponent's base.
That's pretty interesting.
So I feel like if red team had attacked earlier, we would have been kind of destroyed. But I feel like our macro is probably going to give us an advantage soon. But it also looks like they're also starting to macro up. And I don't know, we'll see what happens in this engagement.
So blue going for the macro play, going to be able to knock out the red HQ with superior numbers.
I think one of the things that's been very hard to do this year is to gauge if the other team is going for more of a macro or rush play. It's just very hard to tell, even with global communication.
Sure. So Q spawning as red, getting pickaxe early, and Grumpy Cat spawning as blue in the bottom left.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going for the notorious nuke strategy.
So Q mining up his HQ, gonna start researching the nuke while getting a lot of territory control by the mines.
Interestingly, goes ahead and gets a shield. Not sure if that really goes together with a nuke play.
So we get our shield because we're scared of faster nukers. So if someone else is nuking faster than us, we just send all our soldiers at them with the shields.
So nuke at about 75% done. Blue really has to take out Q before the nuke finishes. 50 rounds left on the nuke.
There
If blue does not move in and take out the HQ, Q will win. So once again, Q with one game versus Grumpy Cat.
Got the max artillery there.
So we're probably going to lose this one since we tried to rush and he got an artillery. Yeah. Looks like if Grumpy Cat just pushes out, we're finished.
It's interesting because if you have an encampment that's close to your base where you could build an artillery, you might compute that he could do the same thing because it's symmetrical.
Right. But sometimes teams just pick completely different strategies. Like we see Q going for the pickaxe and Grumpy Cat going for the fusion.
That just triggered our retreat. So like we detected that our rush failed, so now we're just going to try nuking. We'll see how that goes. And it doesn't look like it's going to go well.
So Q going back to base, trying to nuke by placing a bunch of mines, defending the HQ. But Grumpy Cat just 35 units to 9 units. I don't see how this will hold. Grumpy Cat, of course, taking his time at destroying the HQ.
Like I said, brings it to a third match.
A third match on, I believe this map is called Turtle Map. I don't know who named it.
Curious.
Can't see the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of lines cut off.
So there are, it's basically, the map is rotationally symmetric. So Grumpy Cat has a bunch of suppliers and generators down there. You'll see Grumpy has 5 suppliers and 4 generators in the bottom corner. So a large number of units from Q, 45 to Grumpy Cat's 35 units. So a 10-unit advantage, but micro will really be key in the engagement.
Yeah, so we've seen blue sort of prefer a little bit more lightning bolts.
30 units to 2 units. This could be game.
Whoa, big macro game.
Grumpy Cat takes the game. All right, so Grumpy Cat advances to play not very good at Battlecode.
My bots will probably bug out again on this map.
Now that'll be, this is for the first place?
Oh, this is for the last round in the losers bracket, who will then go on to play the winner of the winners bracket.
I see, I see.
So for third place.
So
for third place, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, for a chance at, well, in any case, yes. So you see blue once again going for the flower. You know, maybe flowers are just more of a blue thing than a red thing. I think blue flowers might be more common than red ones.
Is there encampment down there, like all the way, like very
There
bottom?
are no encampments on the corner of the map. So it's pure mines, or in the top, it's just nothing.
Once again, you can see my absolutely awful artillery there.
Yeah, so Grumpy Cat choosing to build an artillery in a little bit of a suboptimal location. Not that bad. So macro advantage to Grumpy Cat right now with 5 suppliers and 2 generators to not very good at Battlecode's only 2 suppliers. Unit advantage right now goes to Grumpy Cat. And in the micro engagement, Grumpy Cat is a little bit better, but he's not bunching up his units as good as not very good at Battlecode is, and just getting rolled right now.
Do you see quite a bit of nuke research from not very good at Battlecode?
Yeah, so it looks like not very good at Battlecode is going nuke, even though they're not doing the mining up or defending. Only the artillery is there to defend the nuke.
Uh-oh, it seems we've gone into stream mode. Oh, we built a shield. All right, that's good.
So nuke is about 60% done. Grumpy Cat should have received the nuke has been half done signal, so at some point Grumpy Cat should move in to destroy the nuke.
Wow.
Unless he loses all his units and gets destroyed. So on to our second match on Careful. Not very good at Battlecode 1 up against Grumpy Cat.
It's going to be interesting. I think we're both doing the same artillery strategy.
Oh, it's very interesting. Yeah, we see quite a lot of symmetry here.
So both teams going for the early artillery, but not very good at Battlecode, does get the first supplier, while Grumpy Cat gets a generator. Supplier being a little bit of a better decision in the early game because you want the cooldown reduction on your unit spawn rather than the increased energy, which you just can't spend.
So we see blue winning that unit engagement, while red having just a few more encampments.
Grumpy Cat with 18 units to not very good at Battlecode's 5 units. The artillery will prevent Grumpy Cat from advancing for a little bit until he goes back, builds shields, and is able to actually push through.
I mean, he's got those shields, or not very good has shields. I feel like Grumpy Cat might just have the numbers, though, because you can't just walk up to those things to shoot at them.
Right, so the cooldown on the artillery is quite long, so even though it'll kill a few soldiers in the beginning, eventually it'll swarm up and destroy the artillery position.
Yeah, I gotta feel like not very good at Battlecode is gonna have infinity shields at the end of this. He's moving in with really well-charged robots there. I mean, I don't know what teams are using for their charge quantities, and oh, look at that back door. He's running in, he's dealt some damage. Killing off some encampments.
Really nice backdoor by not very good at Battlecode, going around the edge, utilizing the fact that the diagonals are completely traversable.
Yeah, you know, we don't see a lot of teams going around from behind, but every time we do see it, it tends to be a real showstopper, but in a good way.
So 1/5 damage on Grumpy Cat's HQ. It is... Except double LM. So this is now the finals. The top-seeded team, Tenubs, must can win, but the loser, if not very good at Battlecode, loses, Tenubs will win the entire tournament. If not very good at Battlecode wins, because it is double LM, they will have to win twice in best of 3.
So we actually detected that he had artillery, so we actually backed off. Although now we're going back in for some reason.
So my soldiers just choose a point to build shields. Hopefully that's pretty relevant. So it's right in front of our artillery here. And so instead of, at the beginning of the game, we rally around our base. But later in the game, we just rally around shields because we might as well just charge them up. So
We should also be building shields, but apparently it's not there, so something messed up.
yeah, I'm currently getting outnumbered pretty badly, but hopefully I'll be able to charge up and actually rally up the army.
So it looks like we have a supplier lead, so that means we'll be able to replenish our just make soldiers much faster than he does, but we'll see what happens. He does have a pretty good defense with on artillery.
Oh, this is pretty bad.
So Tenubs with a huge supplier lead, making 35 units to 4 units from not very good at Battlecode.
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
Our supplier generator ratio depends on the map size.
So on small maps where there are a lot of engagements, you want to favor suppliers because you want to replenish your soldiers more often. Whereas on big maps, you're not going to have a lot of engagements, so you want to have more generators on those maps to increase your max army size. And it looks like our bots are bugging out.
So Tenubs, with some sort of glitch on their bot, just decides they don't want to actually do anything, even
What
with
a
the unit
turnaround.
advantage.
What is going on here?
This will be a huge upset if Tenubs doesn't actually do anything.
That's unfortunate.
Maybe the crystalline structure will be disrupted by the blue advance, and it'll all sort of break loose, and they'll start doing things all at once, excitingly.
So Nubs does, for some reason, seem to be researching a nuke. So if the nuke finishes before blue is actually able to push through this crystalline robotic structure, red will win. Otherwise, we may just see this for a while.
We may see this for some time. I mean, there's a certain, if it does come to a end of round match timer limit thing,
so
then blue will win.
With the supplier advantage, it looks like every time blue is able to move in, red just kind of replenishes it a little bit with fresh soldiers from the back, while simultaneously getting like 1 or 2 points on nuke.
I feel like they're all headed for some point in the middle of that jumble, and that.
Our number of soldiers is slowly dropping, I think.
I think so too, and I believe they have more encampments than us. So.
Yeah. So right now it's 30.
Blue's getting close to dealing a hit point of damage to red. He has dealt a pixel of damage.
Have I?
Yeah, look at that.
It looks like
look at that little thing there.
Cool.
So blue is actually attempting to backdoor. Every once in a while, a soldier will get close to the HQ and deal some damage.
Yeah, our bots aren't moving.
And then we don't have any.
Now they're exploding.
So red is slowly running out of energy. So you saw robots just implode. That's because they ran out of energy and they take HP damage when they are unable to.
Well, that's a pretty interesting result to the beginning of that match.
Good game.
Because I think if we had bet money, if we had bet not very good at Battlecode, like $300, like we just went out and bet them, they would have bet against themselves at that point.
That's probably true.
They would have. If they would have done that, we would have made so much money.
Yeah.
So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Maybe it has to do with some state transition problem. We've had some trouble with that in the past.
Yeah, well,
where it would
has,
just switch states from one another, and it would keep switching.
Well, switching states is a difficult thing. Political entities are full of red tape. But
So this is a pretty large map, so it could take a while. It looks like both teams are going for a lot of encampments to increase their economy and their max soldier cap.
I like to see both teams getting vision. That's pretty interesting. That's not a very common upgrade to get.
Yeah. So I think
it looks like both teams are nuking.
Wow.
So both teams are going for the nuke. Hopefully we don't hit the edge case that we talked about earlier.
Holy crap.
We will see the round counter for the nuke pop up when we get to 50 rounds. So
I think red's gone ahead.
I think red is ahead in the nuke progress.
Look at blue's little squad. Oh.
We apparently. Oh.
We accidentally nuked. It's not perfect.
Well, it's supposed to be like last scenario kind of thing. But
Red didn't even get to nuke.
I noticed the icon gets bigger.
Yeah, it does.
That's really cool.
All right, 10 Nubs versus not very good at Battlecode. Both teams having one each. 10 Nubs looking to win the entire tournament right now.
Big rush coming out of 10 Nubs, going straight for the jugular.
I think we're just gonna throw guys away. It looks like for the.
Might hold it off in the middle. Still getting some macro in the back of it, so not entirely an all-in.
That artillery position is also going to be very key in defending the blue headquarters.
Yeah, but we'll see red go ahead and get that shield really early on. You think they doing just because they know or because they saw the enemy artillery? Both teams.
We usually, if we realized that against some nuke bots, we couldn't actually beat them by building a shield at the halfway point or like when we detected artillery. So we just automatically programmed our bots to build a shield at round 200.
It's pretty good against mines too.
So it's okay, even though he doesn't have mines. He does have artillery. And that choke point really hurt us a lot because our army got split up. But it looks like...
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh,
I think I'm probably going to lose this.
So red taking out that artillery position. Now going for the HQ. Wait.
So that looks like the end, and I think we saw once again this year, a working Battlecode competition. I mean, I don't know if I can go so far as to say that that it was, the best ever or the most well executed, but I think we can say that it was quite entertaining and interesting and fun to participate in. We have a lot of sponsor awards to give out and so on, not to mention awards to the players in the tournament itself that you just saw. So I think we'll just go ahead and do that, and we'll be right on our way. So is that all right with you?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
So we've got a couple of sponsor awards, and I guess I'll switch it on over to the sponsor presentation, and we'll call them up one at a time. And what we'll do for awards is for the sponsor awards, we can do applause after every one of them, but then for the other ones, we'll just name them all real quick and distribute, and it'll be super efficient. So we'll do it that way. This one. So our first sponsor award will be in the name of the silver sponsors who don't personally give awards, and this is for the best strategy report. The best strategy report award is given to the team that writes the best report and submits it. And this year's strategy report award goes to rightnowlecture.voldemort. So if they can come right on up.
Is that directly connected?
Oh yeah, you can hand it out if you will. Yeah, these guys wrote a great report, very detailed and thorough, with a lot of great pictures. And we really appreciate pictures. I myself, when I was a kid, I would always look at the page and see how many pictures and how many letters there were, and that was how good it was. Our next award is Chopper Trading's award, which I'll be presenting because they're not here. And so, yes, here it is. Thanks. For some reason, that just sort of popped out. The Chopper Trading Award for top scrimmage rank goes very obviously to the top ranked scrimmage team. Really did a lot of good work. That goes to Grumpy Cat. Come on up. So our next award will be delivered by Dropbox. If you can come on up and just give your quick 20-second description of the award and who you're giving it to, that'd be great. And I'll just switch on over to there. Next on deck is D.E. Shaw. So if you can just sort of get yourself in position, you're on deck.
Cool. So our award this year is the Storage Requirements Award. And it goes to the team that used up the most storage with their submission. So the team whose code generated the largest files. So this goes to Gleany. Congratulations, Gleany.
It was very big. My goodness. All right, and D.E. Shaw, if you'll come right on up. And on deck is 2 Sigma. So D.E. Shaw giving the award for?
So we're giving the award for infinite testing because we feel it's important to be able to properly test your code before you put it in, but then also balance that out with performing well. So the award goes to Team 0.
All right. I mean, testing's so important. We've seen teams that can automatically test their code do so well. Maybe next year we'll give out a partly working thing that automatically does things for people. Let's write that down. So 2 Sigma will be our next presenter.
All right. So the 2 Sigma Sun Tzu Award is what I'm presenting today, and the great warrior Sun Tzu wrote about the importance of knowing yourself, those of your adversaries, being disciplined, having good risk management. And we believe all of those things are important in finance and investment management, as well as in combat and warfare. So I know that in ancient China, you didn't have 30 longs or whatever you could use to communicate with your future reincarnated self. But still, it must have been important back then as well. So the 2 Sigma Sun Tzu Award goes to Team Q.
All right. And our last sponsor award will be coming from our platinum sponsor, Oracle. If you can come right on up. Yeah. So Oracle's giving its own award. And after this, we'll be on to the Director Awards. Funny thing about awards is that it's never really obvious what you should print them on. You know, do you print them on ordinary paper? Do you print them on like gold leaf? Do you print them on, you know, copper plates like certain religions? Do you know, or and then if you do choose cardstock and, you know, do sort of the humdrum ordinary route, you know, do you get cream or do you get eggshell? Or do you get winter wheat? I mean, I'm a big fan of winter wheat, but it looks almost better in a garage, like a garage paint, than it does on an award. And do I really want my award to remind me of a garage? So this year we picked white, I think. I think we picked paper color. Yes, as real.
We're ready for this. So we're going to be making an award for the best comeback, and we want to give that because you know, this is also a spectator sport, and it's something for the audience. And so for the team that gave us the best comeback and the most enjoyable scrimmage, the award goes to Team YOLO.
Is that person in the, if you give it a little shout if you're in the room? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming up. All right. Our next award is, we'll do the Dev Awards, and then we'll give out the awards for placing, after which you'll be able to get your T-shirts outside and whatnot. So we have an award that we're giving to the most helpful team this year. You know, we love collaboration and that sort of thing. So we sent out an email saying what teams were helpful. We got like 2 responses, and 2 data points is like scientific proof. So that award goes to, no, I'm kidding. It was made on the basis of like real stuff. Team 0, thank you for being so helpful. And the next award we're giving is, you know, in the spirit of being entertaining to the audience, you know, and having a good stage presence, we have an award for the best stage presence, which we go ahead and, you know, we make the decision, you know, like within the last couple of minutes. And so we've written in here in pen in our best possible handwriting, which is about as good as our coding skills. We've written in for the best stage presence, at least it's not a startup. Come right on up. Which is apparently also the team with the largest cheering section. So then we'll just sort of race right on through these. And the way I'm going to do them is Aaron here is going to hold on to the things while I'll pass them to him. And then he's just going to like juggle them because I'm just going to be like boom, boom, boom. And you'll just come up one at a time. And anyway, it'll be awesome. So in the what the? In the correct order. Yeah, please come up in the correct order. Like if the other guy in front, well, anyway, you're smart guys, so do it in the right way. Okay, sprint tournament winner was, as you already know, was Clam++. Come on up. We have a prize for you. They're not here, so that just makes things complicated. The Novice Tournament 4th place winner is Own Goal. Own Goal. Yeah. 4th place is a good place to be. You know, it gives you room. It gives you room to move around, and you know, you can see other people. You get sort of a vantage point. It's good. We have a 3rd place newbie tournament is face rollers. Come on and roll some of our faces. So 3rd. Our 2nd place newbie tournament goes to Team Q. Come on up. Saving us all kinds of ink on printing these things. Just 1 letter. Have we had 1-letter teams win before? Probably not. For 1st place in the newbie tournament, we have Noobs. Come on up. Wow. A first-time team doing so well in the tournament. So impressive. I'm really happy about that. I gotta say. It just goes to show that, if you've got the drive to succeed, blah, blah, blah. So 16th place in the open tournament goes to Ain't Nobody Got Time for That. 15th place goes to our well-writing strategy report, Right Now Lecture Voldemort. You can withhold your applause until the end, I think, and that'll be fine. Because I'll just rush right on through, and then that'll be. Oh, you could do it between. I don't know. It's up to you. Let's see. I'm on to 13th place is that great team Cordage. Cordage, lots of feet of Cordage. In 12th place we have. For some reason, 14th is here, and then it's 11. Am I using the wrong ones? They're under the bottom. You could. Wait, what's going on? You arranged them in the correct order? You arranged them? Ah, perfect. Then I just didn't push the next button. Sorry, hey, I just met you. 11th place. Excellent. Gleany, 10th place. Excellent work. Excellent work. We got 8th place is Cho Cookies. Cho Cookies. And in 7th place, at least it's not a startup, that team with the great stage presence. Yeah, and now we have 12th place, which was here. Here's 12th place. It's Team Soda. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll make sure that everything works fine. Here's Soda. Oh my goodness, what a disaster. I'm not even gonna be able to get to sleep tonight. We got 9th place here and then 6th place. Team Zero in 9th place. Come on up. We've got in 6th place, Team Bad, not very bad at all. In 5th place, we've got Own Goal. Own Goal. So I guess that means they've scored, really good position on both brackets. Here's those two. In 3rd place, I'm just gonna go ahead and advance this, we've got Team Q, saving us more ink. Holy cannoli, these are out of order. Can't believe this. In 4th place, because we like to jump around, Team Grumpy Cat. Here's some more of these pieces of paper. Okay, we're moving along, we're trucking, okay. And in 2nd place, we have Not Very Good at Battlecode, and in 1st place, to Noobs. Give it up for all of our teams. So yeah, I guess, did Face Rollers get your 14th? I guess they weren't here. You didn't get it? Oh, 14th place goes to Face Rollers. Yeah. And the rest of these are blank because, the world is your stage and your empty canvas and other inspiring things that you can imagine that I've said about how great it's going to be to participate in Battlecode this year and in the future. Thank you very much for coming to the final tournament, and please be sure to get t-shirts on your way out. If you are like a petite girl or something and you need a little shirt, we have Youth Large this year. And so you can wear those and you can see if they reach down past your midriff. Excellent. See you next year.